WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. 7-on-7 drills started out well enough for the Jets. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers hit receiver Garrett Wilson deep, much to the delight of the crowd. Things quickly went downhill. Buccaneers' defensive line dominated the Jets' offensive line. Rodgers sacked multiple times, got frustrated. New York's O-line still a major concern for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. MMQB senior NFL reporter Albert Breer.
They've got pieces up front, and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have invested in trying to put together, a top-shelf offensive line. The problem is it hasn't come together yet, and there's a lot of projection there.
Albert Breer on ESPN Radio Mornings. Buccaneers receiver Russell Gage suffered a season-ending knee injury at today's joint practice, reports ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Ravens Pro Bowl cornerback Marlon Humphrey will undergo surgery on a lingering foot injury, a big hit to the thinnest position on Baltimore's roster. No timeline yet for his return. Raiders receiver Devontae Adams returning from a minor lower leg injury for today's joint practice with the Rams. Venus Williams given a wild card to play in her 24th U.S. Open later this month.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a Wednesday afternoon. I had to check the date or the day because I mean my days just run together sometimes.
Well, you get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I do, but it's worth it. Get up and have fun every morning. News Radio 570 WWNC on First News on 570. But this is why we do it, right? This is why I'm here.
Football.
That's right. Football season upon us. I did not get to see Hard Knocks last night because I have to get up at 3:30 every morning.
I did. You know what I learned? Robert Saleh talks like I do.
Yes.
He says bad words, mess.
That he does. He's a hell of a motivator. And you already showed me the magic tricks that he pulled off.
The mentalist. I still don't understand how you do any of those things. I know they're crap. I get it. I know there's some trick to it. You're not actually a mentalist. But it's still pretty impressive.
It is.
Aaron Rodgers winds up holding a plastic container with a goldfish in it.
Like, how do you do that? How do you plan for that?
I have no idea.
How do you plan for that?
How do you take something out of someone's hand and replace it with something else?
Without
and
them
they
knowing.
Don't know.
Right. Especially when it's somebody who, makes their living off of working with their hands like Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers also a very vile enemy of all things groundskeeper. He picks up blades of grass like all the time.
Okay.
Just constantly picking up grass and rubbing it on his hands and throw it in the air.
Is he creating divots? Is that what you're saying?
He's creating divots.
He's creating divots out there on the practice field, and this aggression shall not stand.
It's fine. I don't care. I don't care if he comes out there with a backhoe.
Exactly. Who cares what Aaron Rodgers is doing? Like I saw this discussion online yesterday about Aaron Rodgers, and are they going to drug test him more now that we know all this about the ayahuasca and the psychedelics and all that? Who cares?
I don't care if he does crimes. Do all the crimes you want. Aaron Rodgers is the one person you can do all the crimes you want to.
He said he's been doing the ayahuasca tea for like 3 years now. So does it really matter at this point if he's teeing up before games?
I was going to do it. I was going to do it myself until somebody told me they could bring all of my fears out. I just go on a bad trip. Next thing I know, I'm being chased through the woods by cloons.
That's always the risk. It's always the risk. Just like spring training or whatever this is, training camp is always a risk for rosters around the NFL. We've had some injuries today. The only season-ending injury of note And it's not really of note because this.
Oh, it's
my
of note
team.
because you're paying him $1 bajillion.
That's my team. We paid $10 million for broken Russell Gage, who can't stay healthy. So his season's over.
T's and P's.
Yeah.
Catastrophic
But
knee
you know
injury.
what that means. It's Trey Palmer season, baby! Yeah.
Don't do my things. You ain't got the chops for it.
Trey Palmer, better than Josh Palmer. Not close.
You're wrong, but I do like Trey Palmer.
We're going to play a fun game of either, neither, or both coming up in the 4 o'clock hour of today's program. Of course, all of the headlines from the preseason, taking your questions as well, your topics in the YouTube channel, the YouTube chat. I didn't even finish off our this is the Sportsocracy. We are in the Ingles Studio, live on ESPN Asheville, heard everywhere around the iHeartRadio app. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link so you can watch us on the YouTubes.
You were just so ready to talk about Aaron Rodgers and your Super Bowl champion, soon to be New York Jets.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat and so you can put in your topic ideas or your questions, and we will get to those throughout the program today. We're also going to start our previews for college football because week 0 is next week. So today we're going to start where every college football conversation always has to start. That's with the SEC. Plus, we'll have the daily draft coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. We will be revealing the members of our Sportsocracy Show Fantasy Football League that will be drafted immediately after the Ultimate Fantasy Draft Contest winners on September the 3rd, live at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue, the football home of the Sportsocracy. You are invited to come out and join us, whether you're in our show league or you're in the other league, or you just want to come out and hang out and watch football and drink some beers. And we're going to be doing the 2 drafts earlier in the day and then hanging out for the Florida State LSU game that night.
I live in the neighborhood, so really this is my only preseason game. I need to get some reps in to make sure I am in mid-season domestic light form for the regular season, which starts the next week.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the first injury of note. Today's training camp, the Baltimore Ravens have lost Marlon Humphrey. Not for a long time. He's going to have foot surgery. He could be gone for, they say, 4 to 6 weeks.
That was the timetable I saw earlier.
I think 4 is normal. 6 could be if there are issues for him coming back. Not expected. It's only expected that he missed the first couple of games of the season. And
I mean, the good thing for the Ravens is that aside from the Bengals, in that window, they only play the Texans and the Colts.
Right.
The Colts, who they have a quarterback that, well, he doesn't throw it particularly well right now.
Indeed.
But he does run. And the Texans, my mother, who I saw this morning, told me to only say nice things, and I didn't have anything nice to say right there.
Okay.
So they are an NFL football team. To the best of my knowledge, They put their uniforms on correctly every single day.
Look, 2 of the first 3 games of the season, pretty much just bulletin board wins for you, going up against the Texans and the Colts. You do have to play the Cincinnati Bengals in week 2, but I didn't like your chances to win that game in the first place. So if you don't have Marlon Humphrey for the first 3 weeks of the regular season, I think it's going to be just fine.
I don't think it really changes anything, but it does really put a microscope on, man, Baltimore's secondary is really thin.
Well, especially right now. Right now, they only have 2 that are healthy to be practicing at the moment. Rock Ya-Sin has been down for a few weeks. You got
Damarian Williams.
Yep. Now you've got Marlon Humphrey has been out. Yesterday, they only had, or after the injury today, they only had Brandon Stevens,
who was listed as a safety on their first depth chart.
Right. And Kevin Seymour, who is a journeyman in his 6-year career and is now on his 4th team. Those are the only 2 healthy corners that they had in practice after the injury to Marlon Humphrey, because Jalen Armour-Davis is down, and as you said, Damarian Williams and Trayvon Mullen had the season-ending injury before camp even started. So how concerning is this for you, Flostradamus? When you look at the Baltimore Ravens and go, we've always liked their defensive scheme. We've always liked the talent that they're able to put out on the field. Does this worry you?
Let me answer that as basically as I can. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. Those are just the receivers in your own division. Yeah, this secondary scares me to death.
Yeah.
Straight up, it does. And look, I like this Ravens team. We wax poetic about how they're the best drafting team in the league, and who knows? Maybe they got a couple guys down that depth chart they really believe in. I said early, you better not let Marcus Peters sign with somebody else. I'm not telling you he's perfect, because he's not. But to go from Marcus Peters to Rock Ya-Sin just when things are right is a step down to me. Now you got Marlon Humphrey. Look, I don't know if you've ever hurt your foot. I have twice. Broke it once and found that out about 8 years later. That's how big, dumb animal I actually am. I just walked it off. It hurts forever. It still hurts. That was almost 15 years ago. It still hurts. Foot injuries take a long time to get right. Even though you can still do things, and he'll be back 4 to 6 weeks, I can't tell you it'll be 100%. And I need Marlon Humphrey to be 120% based on how this defense is built. I love Marcus Williams. I love Kyle Hamilton. But there's a hole. And then there's another one in the slot. So for me, this is really concerning because how good this division is. Does any other team in this division have a hole this big?
No.
I don't see one. Just going up and down.
Yeah,
I don't see. Everybody talks about the Bengals secondary. I don't think that's a problem. Offensive line, man, you got a lot of guys that I would like to have as a Jets fan as I'm looking at Max Mitchell getting verklempt and getting that agita right here in the subcockles of my heart.
Yeah.
That's what scares me, is that this is to me, it's a hole. It's a deficiency. And it's something that teams are going to come after. And could I be convinced that you're going to get after the passer particularly well? Yeah. I liked David Ajabo. I like Odafe Owa. Tyus Bowser, I'm not 100% sure where he fits in, but I know he's going to have a role. You're going to be fine. Front seven's really good. It better be really, really, really good. Because that second corner spot's going to be a problem. It'd be one thing if you were in the NFC North and the second receivers were, I don't know, whatever the Lions are. Marvin Jones, Romeo Doubs, Chase Claypool. That would be bothersome, but not awful.
Right.
In this division, that's terrifying.
Yeah. It would worry me more if Marlon Humphrey were expected to be out for an extended period of time. But like I said, missing the first 3 games of the season, it really just doesn't change anything for me. And if he can come back and be healthy, then I'm not worried at all by this. Because he'll be the one when he comes back. And then you'll have Rock Ya-Sin will hopefully be back by then. It's a guy that you traded for. I don't like it. I don't see the loss, the quote-unquote loss of Trayvon Mullen as anything big because I didn't like him to begin with.
I
but
think
he was a
he's
body.
on, his 8th team? I think you'll be just fine without him.
But he was a body to throw out there. I trust the process. If anything, I'm looking at this scared, like, oh, here it goes. If you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, how do you look at the news today and go,
why can we not stay healthy? That would be my
exactly.
question.
Like this is the beginning of the tidal wave that has sunk every season you've had, since the Super Bowl, right?
It's been a long time. I saw somebody earlier in the YouTube comments say, I think Ray Lewis and Ed Reed threw a curse on us in 2000. Well, you did win a Super Bowl in the offing there. But I get it. It just seems like every year they have injury problems.
And so,
but now if you're a Raven fan, here's the one thing that you should take solace in. We don't do cut downs anymore. So you just cut down the final roster. When you cut down the final roster, would it shock you to see them find 2 playable corners when that happens? Wouldn't shock me in the least.
No.
Not, do I want to start them? No. But you're going to have Rocky Ascent and Marlon Humphrey, and that I think will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you have a scouting department that is this good, and you're getting ready to have 1,000 new free agents on the market in just the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If it was going to happen to anybody, I feel better about it with Baltimore than I would with most others.
Right. I did see some highlights from earlier today from the joint practices between the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders.
Stop punching helmets.
It's got a little chippy.
Yeah, stop punching helmets. It's really stupid. That was in Hard Knocks last night, too.
Well, we're just getting to that point, though. I mean, we're getting to that point where the guys are ready to go. Like, you can watch these joint practices and you can watch the preseason games. You could tell. You can pick out all the dudes and go, yep, that one. Those dudes are ready. They're ready to roll heads.
It's hot.
For this
They're
season.
ready to hit somebody that they haven't been hitting for an extended period of time, and you give them the opportunity to do that, and they get a little feisty.
Yep. And I like seeing the fire. I was reading an article earlier today about the Seattle Seahawks. And I want to talk about coming up next because Coach Pete Carroll, he feels like this team has something really in common with those teams that were really good with Russell Wilson. We'll be right back here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
Have your outdoors and running water too with Luxury Lou, the tasteful solution to portable bathroom rentals. Family owned and local, Luxury Lou Rental provides modern bathrooms on the go with running water, AC and heating, flushable toilets, and elegant designs. Luxury Lou's are perfect for weddings, corporate events, remodels, and more. Don't leave your well-dressed guests to use a dirty porta-potty john.
Ew.
Turn to Asheville natives. Luxury Lou. Visit LuxuryLousRental.com.
Every day you breathe in thousands of tiny little germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Dan, a verified Navage user who writes, I've had trouble with my sinuses for decades. I always thought something like this was a gimmick, but one use and I'm hooked. I should have bought this a long time ago. The results are immediate and incredible." Unquote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV. respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
The Sportsocracy.
Two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Welcome back into the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. And so the Seahawks, they're one of those teams that we sold short last year, right? Everybody, I don't think there was, well, I mean, there were some Seahawks fans who believed in the Geno Smith comeback. I think we actually got to see it last year. And now we all pretty much have them at the top of their division. If they're not first, they're second in your prognostications.
They're first in mine.
Otherwise, you need to rethink your footballing if you've got anybody else ahead of the NFC West this year. But Pete Carroll believes he's got something with this team.
I agree with him.
And he says it reminds him of those Legion of Boom teams. That this team has the same kind of, I don't know, what do you call it, mojo around them. That they're there every morning, bright and early, ready to work. Geno Smith was talking about practice, how it's, you know, how it just kind of refreshes him every morning when he gets in at 5:30, 5:45, and there are already dudes in the locker room just strapping up and, you know, doing their weightlifting and getting taped up and getting ready for the day's practices like it's a game. And Pete says this is exactly the same kind of MO that they had during the Legion of Boom days. Everybody shows up for practice and they're ready to go. And in some cases, the practices can be more competitive than the actual games themselves, because everybody on the roster is trying to compete with each other and trying to get one up on the other in the depth chart race or whatever it may be. This is what good franchises are made of, right? Mm-hmm. They're made of great leaders, great coaches like Pete Carroll that can take a bunch of dudes. I'm not saying these guys aren't talented. What I'm getting ready to say might make it sound that way, but he can take a group of guys who may not be the most talented in their division. They may not be the most talented in their conference. But at the end of the day, because of the coaching and the scheme and the attitude around the team and the responsibility to each other, can lift you to heights that you wouldn't otherwise.
The only position group in the NFC West that I would say they are not the best in this division at are defensive line and linebacker. That's it. Best offensive line, and I don't know that it's even kind of close. Best weapons, I don't know that it's even kind of close. Best quarterback, I'm not sure that's all that close. And yes, I included Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. One of them wears sports bras and is never healthy. The other one's Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I'm not following you down the quarterback path because I still feel like Matt's better.
I don't. He's 35 years old. He didn't look very productive last year, and I don't see it getting better with.
Well, I mean, he looked productive last year when he had a legitimate weapon, and when that one legitimate weapon went away, it was okay. What am I left with? And then he got hurt.
Well, now he has that one legitimate weapon and absolutely nothing else.
Sure, I get the criticism there. You lift Geno maybe because of the weapons. I could see that argument. Pure talent, I'm not with you. But your point is taken. This team has drafted really, really well to go.
This is what happens when you fleece a team. Hey, Arizona Cardinals, look around. Breathe it in, man.
Yeah, find that team.
Breathe it in, because this is where you're headed.
Find your Denver Broncos.
Denver.
Somebody to get rid of Kyler Murray.
Denver. Can't wait to watch that implode. We have our first one of these of the day. Nope. It's not how that's supposed to work. Oh, this is why you don't click buttons, because you forget to click them back on.
I'm your huckleberry.
That's from Gage Camplin. He has top 5 NFC teams for both of us.
Okay. Well, it starts at Philadelphia.
Okay, let's start at Philadelphia because that's one for both of us.
Right.
But start at 5.
Start at 5.
Yes, because mine's changed a little bit. As time has gone on, and he timed the super chat perfectly.
I guess my 5 would have to be New Orleans?
That's my 5.
New Orleans is probably the 5.
That's my 5.
Dallas would be my 4.
San Francisco's my 4.
Okay, San Francisco would be my 3, or my 2, and Seattle's my 3.
Dallas and Seattle's the hardest for me, and I think I'm at the point that they're 2A and 2B. I probably have Seattle just a fraction ahead of them.
Okay.
Not because of anything Dallas has done. I'm just really digging into Seattle now, and the more I do, the more obvious it is of how good this team is.
Seattle's definitely in the top 5 in the NFC. Comfortably inside the top 5. They I don't believe they would be if you went comparing them to the AFC. I don't think they stack up in the AFC, but in the NFC, where you could end up.
Ask yourself this question: where do the Saints fall in the AFC?
Oh,
how many?
Lord.
I'll make this much easier for you. How many teams in the AFC are the Saints better than right now? I'll give you New England in the East.
Yeah.
I'll give you anybody in the North.
I'd agree.
Texans, Colts, Titans in the South.
Okay.
Broncos, Raiders in the West.
Yep.
They'd be the 11. They're comfortably to me the 5 because my 6 and 7 are the Lions and the Bears.
Right. I mean, would you be shocked to see one division, the NFC East, dominate the playoff teams, the wild cards in the NFC?
I would.
I mean, it would be tough to see, but
the NFC East just plays an evil schedule.
But I could see that path where the wild card comes down to the Giants and the Redskins, or excuse me, the Commanders. Sorry, I didn't mean to racism.
Oh, he did that thing that you're not allowed to ever do.
I didn't mean to racism. 90,000 people have signed that petition now, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
To change the name back?
It's still circulating. 90,000 signatures on that petition to change the name back. But things go right for the Giants and the Commanders. I could see them being in the thick of the wild card race.
I don't see how they beat that schedule. For me, the NFC is as predictable as anything I've ever seen in my life. Cowboys, Eagles in the East. I would say the Lions and the Bears are the playoff contenders. One of them wins the division. I don't know if the other one makes the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if the Bears win the division, the Lions make the playoffs. If the Lions win the division, I'm not so sure the Bears make the playoffs. Saints win the South. Panthers, Falcons are really competitive for that last wild card. Seahawks win the West. 49ers are the first or second wild card.
Okay.
I can't see a way that goes any other way. Washington, I like the Giants. I hate your schedule. We went through the Giants schedule yesterday and tried to go as rose-colored Brian Daboll glasses as we could. We got to 10 wins, which is what they had last year. Just over the top giving them games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't see that.
But you wouldn't be shocked, right? You wouldn't be shocked to see a 10-win team make the playoffs in the NFC. In fact, you win 10 games in the NFC, you're guaranteed a playoff game. Anyhow, Common Sense Ain't Common in the YouTube comments throwing out his top 5. All the same teams except for the Bears. He included the Bears in his top 5.
And he ended it with, yes, I said the Bears. And no, I don't think that's that spicy. I really don't. That's how bad the NFC is.
That One Nation Underground included the Vikings and the Lions in his top 5. Eagles, Niners, Seahawks, Vikings, Lions.
Lions I get, Vikings I don't.
I don't understand it. You can.
The Vikings may give up 1,700 points.
You can.
That might be a slight bit of hyperbole because 100 points a game is probably a lot, but
you cannot be unbiased about football, to me, and look at this season and go, the Dallas Cowboys are not a top 5 team in the NFC. That's you got some glasses on that you hate
I know
the
how you
Cowboys.
get there.
How?
Mike, 3 words. Mike McCarthy. Done. Found it. There it is.
As bad as this league is, you still don't think Mike McCarthy with Dallas can win enough games to be top 5.
You know how high I am on Dallas.
Yeah.
But you said, I don't see how you get there. Okay, let me explain it to you. You start in New York against the Giants. It's a good team who comes in with their hair on fire and beats you at home. Then you play the Jets, who, well, if you're watching Hard Knocks, you realize that you got a little gusto about this team. Play the Cardinals, Patriots, no losses there. 49ers, Chargers, I could see you losing both of those. Beat the Rams. Lose to the Eagles, lose to the Panthers in Carolina, catch a win against the Giants and the Commanders in your place, then lose to the Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, and Lions. I see the path. If Mike McCarthy is as bad as some people think he is, I see how you got there. I don't agree with you, but I see how you got there.
Okay.
There are certain things that you can't tell me and me go, all right, the Arizona Cardinals are going to win the NFC West. You're on recreational crimes.
Let's see. Tim Raymond and Gage Camplin both having the Saints in their top 5s as well. Joshua Penix has got the Giants or the Falcons as his 5.
A lot of people that I really trust their opinion are very high on the Falcons. Starting to think maybe I have slept on them.
Yeah. And I get you like the defensive
I love the defense, and I love the fact you're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is Desmond Ritter's not good at this.
That's where I keep coming back to. I keep coming back to your quarterback and going, I can't see you as a top 5 team in this league. Can I see you winning the division? Sure.
Common Sense Ain't Common asked a question to me. Would you be shocked if the Bears were better than the 49ers?
Would I?
I'm asking it to you. He asked it to me.
Yes. Unequivocally, yes.
I wouldn't. I swear every passing day I lose a little bit more faith in the San Francisco 49ers. When Kyle Shanahan came out yesterday and said, Brock Purdy'd have to melt for us to play him as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you have this faith in this 7th-round quarterback that beat up on the dregs of the NFC?
My question is, why do you doubt him so much?
Let's see. What chance would you? Because I have eyes, or because I didn't just see him 6 weeks of last year? I watched him play 3 years at Iowa State. I never one solitary time looked at him and went, "That's an NFL quarterback." And yeah, I don't change opinions easily. And he didn't do anything to change my mind. That team at full health, you could play quarterback and make the playoffs in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, the last time they were fully healthy, I think I was still legally allowed to diddle in my pants.
You're still legally allowed.
Without judgment.
Yeah, you definitely can't do that.
Yeah, I don't care how many domestic lights you have now. You go 2s. You're drinking by yourself for a while.
Shoot!
Oh,
Jeremy messed himself.
Shoot!
It's ESPN Asheville. We'll let him clean up. We'll come back right here on the Sportsocracy. Seen everywhere on YouTube.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable low humidity again tonight with 50s in the higher elevations, 60 degrees in the valley. Rare summertime cold front is pushed out to the coast of North Carolina. That's where most of the storms have moved. Sunshine Thursday, and the humidity starts to come back into the weekend. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, near 80 Friday, and some upper 80s, low 90s do return late this weekend and early next week. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
In a world where thrills never stop, $1 million is on the line. And your fate is decided every 4 minutes by a bunch of random numbers with...
Dan, I think Keno's exciting enough without you doing the voice.
But my talents add a little something, right?
I guess.
Carolina Keno, $1 million thrills every 4 minutes.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win. A price range from 1 to 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
ESPN Asheville, time to get just a bit outside. And the Los Angeles Chargers have a new defensive lineman in camp. His name is CJ Okoye. If you don't know that name, it's because he's never played football before. In fact, the preseason game this past week was his first ever organized football game. He comes from the international
You got to be
program.
a special kind of athlete for your first NFL football game to be an NFL preseason game.
Right. He comes from the NFL's International Pathway program, where they go to different cities and they hold these tryouts, and he was one of, I think, 8 guys that tried out. And he ended up winning the contest or whatever and getting a spot on the team, and he's never played the game before. His first, again, organized football game was this past weekend when they played the LA Rams. Well, in the game, Okoye got a sack he didn't even know was a sack. He thought as soon as Stetson Bennett started running, he was now just fair game. So he tackles him behind the line of scrimmage, and one of his teammates comes up and goes, "You got the sack!" And he was like, I did what? I had no clue.
He didn't know what a sack was.
He didn't know what a sack was. But he ended up registering a sack in the game. You know, maybe he's got a chance to make this roster. Maybe he's got a chance to get on the practice squad, whatever it may be. It is a hell of a story, and obviously the Chargers locker room rallying around this guy. His dance was quite entertaining. He did a little dance on the field, and then there was a video of him doing it again in the locker room. And yeah. You're not a great dancer. Not a great football player yet.
I'm apparently not a good drinker of things because I almost choked and died.
I mean, if he can record a sack in his first preseason game, maybe the kid's got something. Who knows?
Whew, I saw dead relatives there for a minute. That was less than ideal. Much like today's joint practices between my 2023 Super Bowl champion New York Jets and your little Tampa Bay Buccaneers. According to Mike Evans, There were more fights today than he's ever seen at a joint practice. And one of them, a little friendly fire, it cost the Jets a player who had to be taken to the hospital. Or I should have said player.
Yeah.
Not a player. A personnel member.
A member of the organization.
Their assistant cornerbacks coach, Tony Oden, had to be taken to the hospital, but is alert after being carted off the field. It appears that he tore his ACL trying to break up a fight.
Mm-hmm.
That is a feisty practice.
It is.
When a coach has to be taken to the hospital, there was some aggression.
Well, I mean, how can anyone play a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even in a non-scored practice, and not expect to see this? Because I cannot imagine being on this team that just won the Super Bowl 3 years ago, right? And now you're staring the abyss, in the face. I'd be a little ticked off too.
Well, the only thing I could think of, you have children. Did they ever watch SpongeBob?
Yeah, some.
Do you remember the Salty Spittoon episode?
No.
It basically was like a bar. And they told SpongeBob he was not big enough to go in there because it was all these like biker cartoons, the biker fish. And they told him he needed to go to Weenie Hut Juniors. My team, Salty Spittoon. Your team, Super Weenie Hut Juniors.
Super Weenie Hut Juniors. It's not great, but T's and P's for your coach. And hopefully he'll be able to be back on the sidelines or at least in the press box very, very soon.
Saleh basically said he didn't know exactly what happened because he was in the middle of his own fight as they were dealing with Tony Oden.
Nice.
That is the Salty Spittoon. I love this team so much.
There is a whole lot of fire and just angst and just urge to prove yourself because there's been so much smack talk about the Jets going jet. And, you can go get Aaron Rodgers, but you'll still never win anything.
That was my biggest takeaway of being around them over the last week. Yeah, every time you say that, they hear it, and it makes them just a little bit angrier.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep doing it, all of you.
We've got another super chat from Gage.
I'm your huckleberry.
He says, all right, now switch it up. Top 5 AFC teams after we gave him the top 5 NFC teams. Top 5 teams in the AFC.
Oh, the AFC? All right. I mean, this is just off the top of my head. 1 to 5. Jets, Chiefs, Jets, Bengals.
Oh,
boom. Let's go.
Get the Jets on there 3 times.
Mic drop.
In the top 5.
1, 2, and 4. Let's go.
Good night.
No, mine would be, let's see, Chiefs 1. I would go Chiefs 1, Bengals 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Jets 3. And then from there, I'll go Browns 4.
Ooh.
Jaguars 5. Yeah, I left out the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, all right.
Dolphins and the Bills are tied for 6th in my head because I can't really differentiate them.
Yeah. I think the Chargers are my 4. I mean, I was with you for the first 3.
I really like the Chargers. I just keep coming back to Brandon Staley going, man, if they had hired anybody but you.
This will be the last ride. One way or the other, right? This will be the last time that I get to take, Brandon Staley and the Los Angeles Chargers and it disappoint me. Because if he disappoints again this year, Kellen Moore is going to be the head coach of that team next year.
Oh, I agree.
So this will be the last time, if it happens, that Brandon Staley will get me. But I think I'm at Chargers 4, and I'm going Bills 5. I can't not have the Bills in the top 5.
I did.
I want to have the Miami Dolphins there as well.
That's the thing about the AFC. You get to the bottom of the NFC and you're like, the Bears? You get to the bottom of the AFC and you're like, whoa, you get out of that conference and you are not to be messed with.
Joke of the day goes to G Baby, who says Raiders number 1. Good for you.
Hey, believe in your team. I don't fault you. Let's go.
I do. That's dumb. I still love you, G baby, but it was really funny. I got the joke. Votes for the Jags. Joshua Penix. Common sense ain't common. Both of them mentioning the Jags in the top 5.
I had them at 5.
Yeah, it's too early.
You don't seem to believe much in the Jaguars.
I mean, I believe that you're going to
steamroll
your division.
You're going to win the division, but in terms of what happens from there?
No, I really
Why?
don't. Because I don't believe that they can beat the Chiefs. I don't believe that they could one-on-one. Do I trust? Who do I trust more? Do I trust Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, or am I going to trust Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
That's closer than you want it to be.
I know it's close, and it'd be a hell of a game, and I'll be enthralled for all 60 seconds of the game or 60 minutes of the game. But
can you imagine if the Jets played the Jaguars in the playoffs? Let's say the Jets somehow don't win the AFC East, and yes, I am officially to the somehow don't win the AFC East. And you have to go to Jacksonville for that. I'd have to be there. I would have no choice. I would have to go.
Mm-hmm.
The mullet capital of the world is hosting the New York Jets for a playoff game. In.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go with you.
Oh yes.
I'll even wear Jets colors if you want me to.
And blue and jorts. You need to wear jorts or you won't fit in.
Or a KOD. You probably don't want that. I could probably dig up my Mojo jersey from somewhere.
100%. That's exactly what you need to wear. Yeah.
I could find my old jorts and my Mojo jersey, even though they're both roughly 6 sizes too large for me now, which would be hilarious.
Tank could fashion himself a lovely dress out of some of the jerseys he used to wear when we first started doing this.
I'll show up looking like one of those 90s rappers that the clothes just kind of fell off if you didn't have a belt.
Did you reapportion any of those, or do you still own them?
Oh, I've got all that stuff.
You kept all your Fatman clothes?
Yeah, it's all in a box.
But why did you keep it?
Because
you're never getting back to that size.
No, but I don't throw things away either.
You could donate that to the city of Asheville. They would use those to fashion a lovely pull tarp.
See, my wife has a great idea. My aunt is a quilter. She loves to quilt. And so my wife wants me to take all of my old T-shirts and stuff and have her make a quilt out of them. So that would include like my jerseys and stuff like that. I think that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, but you're going to have holes in it where the numbers were. You've got a couple that have like the holes right there. It's not going to be the most formidable blanket.
You never know.
Still maintain. Lovely pull tarp.
It would be. That Mojo jersey, I can double it over. Like I can change the 32 into a 2.
I know. You were complaining that you washed your lovely Nissan Rogue over the car cover.
Just
take
go.
that, drape it over your car.
I'm actually using my old LaDainian Tomlinson jersey as my grill cover right now on my porch. That was not true. That was a joke.
There's a reason I tell the jokes around here.
Gage Camplin again saying swap the Browns for the Bengals. No. I just can't get there with the Browns. I can't put them in the top 5 yet.
Oh, no, I don't think he heard me say the Bengals. He said his was Chiefs, Bengals, Jets, Bills, Chargers. I could get down with that too. I have no qualms with any of those things. The AFC, there's about 9 teams you could tell me you really believe in. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Right.
What I will tell you is 2 of them are not going to make the playoffs, and I am looking at the schedules. There are a couple that make a lot more sense than others.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers being one of them.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Are Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The NFL is back, and your free iHeartRadio app is your home for the NFL Podcast Network with full coverage of all 32 NFL teams. Get in-depth analysis from the pros on Around the NFL. Win bragging rights at this year's draft with tips from the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast and more. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
This is Pre-Tection. Yep, Pre-Tection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist-recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
High school football season is back this Friday, and we get things started with Owen and Inca in Week 1 of the Buncombe County Game of the Week. Both of these schools are looking for a good start to the season, and it should be a great matchup. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show starts at 6:30. On ESPN 1400, the Jonathan Crompton era gets underway as Tuscola host Asheville. The Mountaineer Countdown to Kickoff show starts at 6:30. The best high school football coverage is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Coffee closes on me. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the wealth.
In the words of the great Bill O'Reilly, we'll do it live. This is Green on Green, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. We've done all of the futures for who I think is going to win every division in the NFL, and that means it's time to look at the awards. And there's one of them that's just free money, people, and it's Coach of the Year. It's Robert Saleh, and I don't really know that it's all that close. How many coaches do you think are in front of him right now?
I would have to say a good 5.
It's 4.
Okay.
Do you know who they are? Dan Campbell, who is the coach of the team that is most likely to win the NFC North right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton, who coaches the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And I, again, said I would be nice, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Matt Eberflus. Yeah, the Bears were the worst team in the league last year. They're going to win 7, 8, or 9 games. I get it. And Arthur Smith. If the Jets win the AFC East, you tell me, just give me a path that anybody not named Robert Saleh wins this.
No, there's not.
So I'm going to go really heavy on Saleh. And if you want to mitigate the risk, if it wasn't Saleh, I would say Dan Campbell, because they're most likely going to win that division. And that's probably enough. I can't get to a path that Sean Payton wins it because you're at best third in that division. If you want a nice little deep flyer, though, Pete Carroll, plus 2,500. If Seattle comes out and is somehow the 1 seed in the NFC, because I do think the Eagles are going to regress just a little bit, you could do markedly worse than that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Anyway, What about Kevin Stefanski? If the Cleveland Browns somehow end up winning that division or getting close to winning the division, say it's a one-game difference between them and the Cincinnati Bengals.
You got to win the division.
Really?
Yes. Because, look, one of these guys that's coaching a team that has been historically bad over the last 20 years, whether it's the Lions, the Bears, the Jets, or the Browns, one of them's going to win the division. That guy probably wins Coach of the Year.
I would agree.
Stefanski's plus 2,500. I've seen me throw money at dumber things.
Mm-hmm.
I think something would have to happen to Joe Burrow. Like he'd have to get abducted by space aliens or something.
Right.
For them to win the division. Now, they can make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember, this is voted on the regular season. So even if they win in the playoffs, won a game or two, that doesn't matter.
It wouldn't count. Right. It wouldn't count toward the vote there. Makes a lot of sense. I understand why Dan Campbell and Matt Eberflus and Arthur Smith are all there. Because those are
don't.
Why? They're three of the worst teams in the NFL, and if they win their division, they're Coach of the Year.
Unless Robert Saleh wins his division.
Which is a big unknown for a lot of people right now. Like, maybe. Is it going to be close? Yeah. Is this team got all the talent to win their division?
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Falcons go 9-8 and win their division. Jets go 11-6 and finish second in the division. Who wins it?
Oh, I'd say it's Arthur.
I would say it's Robert Saleh, and I would say you are high on crimes.
Really?
New York, period.
Mm-hmm.
We did this last year. You remember how I was so confident on Brian Daboll?
Getting the credit for that? No, Aaron will get all the credit for that.
Not necessarily, because this is going to be on the defense. Who's the defensive guy? You think Jeff Ulbricht's catching that gravy? Because I'm going to say you're crazy. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. And Hard Knocks has made me love him even more because he is a lunatic and he is my lunatic.
Right.
Yeah, Robert Saleh is the layup of the year.
Yeah. I trust you. You're the gambler. So
that's one of those.
You know better than I do.
I've waited for this number to move. I was going to do awards before I did division winners.
Mm-hmm.
This was the one. I went, oh, that's going to move because this is insane. Dan Campbell goes 10-7, wins that division. I'm not 100% sure he wins. I'm not sure he wins it then anyway. In a vacuum. They were 9-8 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so what's the – you took a game step and you're just in a much worse division. And that's going to win you Coach of the Year? I don't think so.
Okay.
Just remember, Brian Daboll won it last year in a walk. He didn't win the division.
Well, no, because his team was supposed to be terrible.
That's the point.
See, if your Jets don't win the division, Robert Saleh's out. I don't think there's a way that you don't finish in. You don't win the division, he can't win Coach of the Year because now you're expected to.
Haven't been in the playoffs in 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer. They make the playoffs. I almost promise you he'll win it.
I don't know that he's getting the credit for that, but we shall see. We'll see how the season unfolds because I think Aaron's going to get the majority of that love. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville Sports Center. Coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable low humidity again tonight with 50s in the higher elevations, 60 degrees in the valley. Rare summertime cold front is pushed out to the coast of North Carolina. That's where most of the storms have moved. Sunshine Thursday, and the humidity starts to come back into the weekend. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, near 80 Friday, and some upper 80s, low 90s do return late this weekend and early next week. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your sports wagering info with all the stats, news, scores, and matchups. Keep the latest game odds, live lines, and matchup reports at your fingertips. BetOnline.net has you covered for every event and sport this month. From baseball to golf to MMA to preseason football. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info and to access your favorite casino and card games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at comparinginsurance.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A great start for the Jets joint practice today. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers connected deep with Garrett Wilson as fans roared in their approval. Things, though, went downhill from there. The Jets' offensive line dominated by the Buccaneers' defensive line. Rodgers sacked multiple times, got frustrated. The growing pains for New York's offense could take a while to work through. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
Offense is about getting 11 guys on the same page, timing, rhythm, preciseness, cohesion. And the only way you get those things is you got to do it under live reps and under pressure. So they may struggle a little bit early, but that's what a great defense is about, and the Jets do have a really, really good defense.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler's reporting Buccaneers receiver Russell Gage suffered a season-ending knee injury today. The Ravens, big hit to the thinnest position on their roster. Pro Bowl cornerback Marlon Humphrey will undergo surgery on a lingering foot injury. It's not yet known how long he'll be sidelined. A scare for the Titans today. Receiver Treylon Burks carted off the field with an apparent leg injury. The status of the former first-round pick uncertain.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, and we are seen live in the Ingles studio on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Also, still time for you to get in on the battle for the belt. We've got all the QR codes and the links in the description of the YouTube video. The QR codes are on the YouTube screen right now, and we also have them posted at thesportsocracy.com on the front page. Get involved. Battle for the Belt, 2 contests this year. Can be one low donation of $75 for you for the entry into that, or each contest costs $50. Standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge, DFS Weekly, with us here in the Sportsocracy, and the proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Coming up later on in the show, in the 5 o'clock hour, we are going to be announcing the roster, I guess, for our show league. We already gave away the Ultimate Draft Fantasy Contest prize yesterday, went to our good friend Justin Parton. And so that draft is set for September the 3rd. It is going to be at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue. We're going to do that draft and the Showed League draft. And then we're going to hang out afterward at the Village Porch to watch Florida State and LSU on September the 3rd. So we're going to spend a whole day at the bar. It's like Jeremy's Christmas has come.
Or an average Saturday.
Bingo.
Spending a whole day at a bar.
Bingo. So get in on the contest at thesportsocracy.com and stay tuned for the reveal of see if you made the cut into the Sportsocracy League.
We'll also reveal the shtick of the Sportsocracy Show League, which, yes, that will be one of those things that it's news to Tank too.
The shtick, great. I guarantee you we're doing Vampire League or something stupid. Jeez, gross. Anyhow,
I mean, I can audible it and make it a tattoo league, but you
I'm
keep
already
saying,
down for one tattoo bet this year. I can't do another one.
Oh, you're not gonna love what that tattoo is, and your wife agreed to it.
Yep, she did. So anyway, let's start off the 4 o'clock hour here.
Tank's gonna have a tattoo of Aaron Rodgers flying an airplane right over Raymond James Stadium.
That's very detailed.
Dropping a bomb on it.
Let's play the fun game of either, neither, or both. Jeremy, you first.
So this has been rattling around in my brain since I was in Charlotte last week with the joint practices between the Jets and the Panthers. Joint practices, preseason games, either, neither, or both. Which should the NFL do?
Say it again.
Joint practices, preseason games, either, neither, or both. These joint practices are getting super chippy.
And I guess at this stage I have to go either and go with the joint practices because I feel like the joint practices are the only things they care about. The actual preseason games, you're seeing a whole bunch of dudes sitting out. I get things are getting chippy in practice, but things get chippy in practice with your own teammates.
100%.
So when you get new faces and new attitudes to deal with, of course there are going to be problems here and there. I like the idea of joint practices and no preseason games.
I am getting to the point that I agree with you. Now, could I be okay with some kind of joint scrimmage that you have in your stadium? Sure.
But that's what the preseason game is anyway.
Not really. Not really. You got guys trying to make a roster. The thing that's bothering me more and more is how many third-string guys you have out there with the few starters that you're seeing. That has recipe for disaster written all over it. You got a kid that's hungry, trying to make a roster with somebody that your entire season is dependent upon.
Right.
That's dumb.
Which is kind of why in our discussion yesterday about Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons, or on Monday when we had that discussion, that's why I kind of get it. I don't want to trot out my quarterback out there if none of my offensive linemen are going to be playing. I don't want him unprotected.
Tim Raymond in our YouTube comment said, preseason is useless if you're not going to give reps to newer young players. I agree with you. To me, it's literally useless if you're not giving snaps to the new or the young players and the guys that are actually going to make your roster. Right now, you're just like Kansas City. All right. And I said Andy Reid abides by the same mantra that I would in the preseason. I'm going to play these guys 2 or 3 series in the first game, 3 or 4 in the second, and not a snap in the third. That's my preseason. That's my starters.
Yep.
I don't understand why we keep doing this as long as Sean McVay is trotting out 22 dudes that will be working at the Home Depot in a week.
How many people watch the Hall of Fame game? That's
How many?
why we keep doing that. That's why we keep doing that.
That's one game.
I get it, but I mean, NFL preseason, regardless of who's playing, is drawing a crowd.
I'm fine with still having a Hall of Fame game. Now, I don't want to have it in that rinky-dink high school stadium outside the Hall of Fame. That's dumb.
That's the only
in a place
that
can't even keep the lights on, yeah, I'll pass. The Jets weren't even able to take showers because there was no hot water. If I'm not mistaken, there's no water, period.
Really?
That's dumb. Don't do that to professional athletes. I'm really not in favor of any of these extracurricular, like the NBA's mid-season tournament. I couldn't care less if I tried. You could tell me the team that finished last got shipped to the USBA. I still wouldn't care.
I feel the same way. What does that have to do with preseason in the NFL?
Those add-on things. Just get to the games. If you want to have these joint practices, that's fine. Get rid of the preseason games. You're tempting fire, and I don't get it.
Or if you could guarantee that everybody's gonna be out there together, right? If there was a certain parameter, like the coaches all have agreed that our ones are all going to play this amount, and then after that amount, everybody's ones come off the field and everybody's twos and threes. You see what I'm saying? That way you don't have the scenario of the headhunter defensive end who's trying to get from fourth string to third string or third string to second string that's going to be out there trying to take your quarterback's head off in the first two series. And, oh, my God, my entire franchise is wrapped up into Bryce Young. Like,
oh, yeah, that did happen, didn't it? Sorry.
Like, I'm not cool with that. But that'll never be the case. You'll never get coaches on board with playing all the strings together unless you're in practice.
That's the point.
Right.
You do that, and it's in a scripted practice like that.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily a game situation. You're running situational football, and I think you get more out of that than you do out of the preseason.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And it's, if you could show us that stuff, we would appreciate it. Because we still want to have content, right? We still want to have eyeballs. Like, I don't want to see, okay, we're doing away with preseason games. Yay! But you can't watch any of the practices.
No.
For 3 weeks before the season starts. Like, no!
I'll be following the Jets around like Bill Walton following around the Grateful Dead.
Right. I still need my football fix, even if it's just turning on the TV and going, oh, there it is, and then going on to something else. Because that's really all I do during the preseason. I'm not sitting around watching these games, and I know most of you aren't either. It's only guys like Jeremy that are sitting there watching every second of a preseason game wondering whether or not Brandon Eccles is going to make the roster. I don't give a flip. With my team.
Oh, my heart just felt my heart fell through my tuchus right there.
I really don't. Russell Gage gets hurt, and okay, it's next man up. Let's go. I really don't care that, is it going to be Trey Palmer or Raheem Jarrett? Just get into the season.
Yeah, it's Trey Palmer.
Yeah, and of course, because it's Trey Palmer season. Baby.
Don't do my shtick. don't do my shtick. That's my thing. Come up with your own.
All right, okay? So I'm going either joint practices.
Okay.
And you're with me.
I would agree with you, yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a fantasy question here, Mr. Tight End Whisperer.
Okay.
Because it's the one thing that I keep having trouble with when I'm going through trying to prognosticate and plan out my draft, is exactly when am I going to pull the trigger on that top tight end. I already know I'm getting in the first tier. Like, that's been one of my solid rules for this year. I want to be in that top tier of tight ends. So I'm not taking Travis Kelce in the first round. So I'm looking at number 2. So either, neither, or both, who's the number 2 fantasy tight end this year? Is it Mark Andrews, George Kittle? Either, neither, or both. Well, I guess both can't be. I guess they could tie.
They could tie. It's not both. I am literally mortified by the quarterback situation with the San Francisco 49ers.
We know.
So I just can't get there. I don't see a path that George Kittle, add in the injury things, and look, I love Kittle. I really do. And the schedule's fine. It's nothing really to jump up and down about. It's fine. In terms of who will be the number 2, you're going to tell me I'm out of my mind.
Please go neither.
I'm going neither.
Good for you. I like it.
I'm going neither.
Okay.
Now, can I sit here and tell you who it's going to be? No. And I'll tell you why. I've already said it's the quarterback situation in San Francisco. There are too many receivers in Baltimore now. The beauty of Mark Andrews was you are about the only game in town that I can consistently count on.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case anymore.
Okay. I mean, I don't know about that. I still think he's
Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, that's guys that are going to get way more targets than Devin DuVernay did.
Yeah, but it was the way you said that of he was the only target that you could trust, and now things have changed. I don't think that's true. I don't know that he has anybody he could trust other than Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is the one, and then
they've invested a lot. They've invested a lot. If you can't trust Odell Beckham Jr., you set $10 million or $18 million on fire. So yes, I stick by what I said.
Okay.
Now for who it's going to be, I'm going to say 2 names, and you're going to tell me that I'm smoking recreational crimes. Pat Freiermuth and Cole Kmet.
Yep. Okay.
They don't call me the tight end whisperer for nothing. But Chicago has the same problem. They got all these weapons. Yeah, how many of them are red zone threats? Do you know how easy it is to finish in the top 8 among tight ends? And the difference between 2 and 8 is not that significant.
Not that significant.
You play 17 games and you're your team's biggest red zone threat, you'll be there. In the top 8, not necessarily 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts, I don't trust the quarterback. TJ Hawkinson, he's apparently got an ear infection now. I've never heard a grown person say, I have an ear infection.
I mean, it does happen.
I'm sure it does. I've never heard it come from a professional athlete. That's a new one.
Okay.
I think this is going to be one of those weird years for tight end that all of the known quantities, other than Travis Kelce, who somehow has the 4th easiest schedule among tight ends in the league. Draft Travis Kelce. Just do it and don't ask questions. All right? Do what I said in that TikTok. Take Kelce, take the Jet running backs, take the Bears running backs, and then draft all receivers.
Right.
Frankly, if you want to go Kelce Mahomes, I'm not going to tell you no.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your knowledge on that, because I keep looking at it and I keep falling back on Mark Andrews. I mean, I know he's going to see fewer targets, but the guy's never had a season where he scored less than 140 points in fantasy football, and I don't know that I see that changing this year. I still think he's going to be the security blanket. And he's always been, and hell, he could be more wide open than ever before because of the 3 wide receivers.
And they're going to throw more.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they're going to throw more.
I mean,
here's my problem with the Andrews thing. It's not that I don't think he's a great player. Where did he finish last year? PPR leagues, where did he finish among tight ends?
3 or 4?
4.
Okay.
He's behind Kittle, who missed 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
He's behind TJ Hawkinson, who missed a game, and he missed 2. I don't know that I think he has potential of being much higher. So in regular PPR leagues, Travis Kelce scored 316 points last year. TJ Hawkinson had 215. Kittle had 200. Andrews had 190. The difference between 1 and 2 is the same as the difference between 2 and 20. So take the layup and just walk on by.
Just go get Kelce.
I could make the argument you should take Travis Kelce at 1.
We've already done that. That was 3 years ago, Spicy Take.
And it wasn't terrible.
It was a great plan. It was a great plan.
Well, it was a great plan, except when you get into the, what do you do at running back? I've already answered that. Jets, Jets.
Go get all the Jets. Go get all the Bears.
Take Izzy Abanaconda. Don't take Zonovan Knight. He's not making the team.
Oh, good. Maybe he can come play for my team.
Yeah,
we have terrible running backs.
He would probably.
Or hell, hey, maybe he could go be the 2 in Dallas. He could go fight out Rico Dowdle for the 2 and 3 spot.
The 2 in Dallas is Deuce Vaughn.
That's what I think.
Dowdle will be the 3.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Playing either, neither, or both. Continues next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Line delays 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road. Delays. Smoky Park Highway moving problem-free. Patton Avenue, no incidents reported. New Leicester Highway, no backups. Biltmore Avenue, no problems. Meadow Road and Amboy Road moving well. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Linden Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're a Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is coming back to T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas this September.
Superstar artists from every genre.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Buy tickets now at AXS.com.
In a world where thrills never stop, $1 million is on the line. And your fate is decided every 4 minutes by a bunch of random numbers with...
Dan, I think Keno's exciting enough without you doing the voice.
But my talents add a little something, right?
I guess.
Carolina Keno, $1 million thrills every 4 minutes.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win. A price range from 1 to 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need, and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Back on ESPN Asheville, this is the Sportsocracy, and we're playing either, neither, or both. Jeremy, I believe it's your turn.
So most of the years since we came to the college football playoff, we have had multiple teams from the same conference in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask you, SEC, Big Ten, either, neither, or both has multiple teams in the college football playoff.
Both.
Really? You said that incredibly quickly.
Okay, so I was thinking, I was thinking like for the foreseeable future, but for this year, with four, yeah, no, I would go. I'm gonna go both, or actually, I'm gonna go either, and I'm gonna go with the Big Ten.
So you're saying Ohio State, Michigan get in?
Probably.
You're, of course, saying Georgia gets in because you play 8 community colleges, 3 water polo teams, and you do have that one just banger in Tennessee.
Yep.
And then who's your fourth one?
And my fourth would probably be Florida State because I think you guys are going to take the ACC.
I'm going to be spicy. Neither. Okay. I don't really see how both Ohio State and Michigan, just the lay of the land. I don't know how USC is going to lose a game. Straight up, I cannot figure it out. But Notre Dame, yeah, I know, and I like Notre Dame. This is the first time they've had a legit big boy quarterback in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't see how USC is going to lose to them. That last year ended badly. I feel like the defense has a bad taste in its mouth. And then I'm looking at Florida State and a few others that, man, your schedule's not daunting, but it's just tough enough that you could withstand a loss. And so I'll say neither. I think Florida State will beat LSU week 1. LSU will catch one more loss, and that will take them out. But I think they're the second best team in the SEC.
Okay.
And I can't say Alabama's going to make it because, well, their quarterback next to me would look like a small child. So,
I think there will be 3 SEC teams that are right there in the discussion. There will be obviously the SEC champion, whoever that ends up being between Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. But they'll be in that discussion. But, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, because USC goes undefeated. I don't think they're getting left out of the playoff. So it could possibly happen. All right, either, neither, or both, Jeremy. I want to focus on non-first-round quarterbacks from this draft. Most likely to make an impact, I guess, or can make an impact. Okay. I'll put it that way. Aiden O'Connell or Clayton Tune. Non-first-round quarterbacks to make an impact for their team this year.
I know a lot of people are – define make an impact before I answer this.
I'll say maybe starts a couple of games, whether it be for injury or and looks good impact, doing it. And looks efficient doing it.
You know what?
Maybe.
I'll say both.
Okay.
I like Clayton Tune a lot, and I'm not sure that he doesn't end up starting for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not going to say week 1. I want to say week 1. I'm not sitting here telling you I got a little birdie in the Arizona front office, but I can tell you just from things I've heard, they know where this season is, which is the reason they keep going, hey, Kyler, you take your time, buddy. You keep having those little throwing sessions. Right. You're not playing week 1.
Right.
Because they know where this team was. So I will say both. I think Tune plays at some point. I think O'Connell will play at some point because I can't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to stay healthy. And I think they'll both be efficient enough.
Yep. I'm going to go with either, and I'll go O'Connell. I don't know what Clayton Tune is, but I don't think there's anything that can really make a swinging impact with that team. Aiden O'Connell, I don't like that team either. Obviously, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't like that team either, but, I mean, they do at least have pieces that maybe you could get something. They could excite you. And Aiden O'Connell, I think, has a much better path to being the number 1 beyond this year for the Raiders than Clayton Tune does as the Arizona Cardinals.
I would agree. I would agree.
All right, this is a two-parter question because I want to go deeper on non-first-round quarterbacks because this goes another level, make an impact for their team, not necessarily playing quarterback. And I'm going to go Malik Cunningham or DTR. Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
I will say either, and it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think we're losing our minds about Malik Cunningham. And I heard Cowherd say this earlier. Is it possible that we're just losing our minds about Malik Cunningham because he is super athletic and the rest of the players on that offense are not? Look, I'm not trying to slight Malik Cunningham. He's not a quarterback. I don't think he has ever played receiver in his life, and they're not playing him that way now.
Well, he's been practicing that way.
Not a lot.
Right.
Not
since
in
the preseason.
Games,
in the preseason,
he's been exclusively a quarterback in the preseason.
Yeah, before the preseason game, he was playing some wide receiver in practice, but after the preseason game, apparently all his snaps have been coming at quarterback.
I don't think he's – I still fall back on the tape with Malik Cunningham. I mean, you remember I liked him. He's a competitor. He's great. I think he has a role in the league. You're asking if they're going to have some little gadget package for him?
Yeah.
I will say no. Now, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I could see him having some kind of role. I do not know what it is.
I'm going to agree with you on Dorian Thompson-Robinson because when a kid's that athletic and the kid's that talented, you can find a way to use him. I'm not saying he's getting snaps at quarterback this year because, well, obviously that's Deshaun Watson's area of expertise. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson can do so many things.
He's a legit quarterback in this league. I'll go ahead and tell you, I've learned enough just from what's already happened. I poo-pooed that, and I said I would only like him if he went to Philadelphia to back up Jalen Hurts, and I missed the boat on that. He's done enough for me to go, yeah, he's an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
Don't know that he'll ever be a starter, but
all right.
He's done enough for me to go, hey, good for you.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. You got another quick one before we go to the break here?
I do have a quick one.
Okay.
This came out today, and it was about the Big 12. They had talks with Gonzaga and UConn. If you were the commissioner of the ACC, I'm not talking about the Big 12. The Big 12's already got 416 teams.
Right.
Would you have an interest in Gonzaga or UConn, knowing that one of them doesn't play football and the other one is irrelevant in it? Either, neither, both.
I'll say both. I have interest in both of them because I want those basketball brands. I want the defending national champions, and I want Gonzaga, who's a contender every year.
And see, for me, the juice is not worth the squeeze. You're going to have to prop them up in football. At UConn, that's one of the few programs that loses money every single year.
Yep.
This is Cal on steroids. So I can't get there. Gonzaga, I might, but then I look at the travel expense to get out there, and I'm good. Nobody's watching those games. I mean, yeah, if we sent Carolina out there at 10:30 on a Tuesday night, but even then, okay, so we just get another berth. And honestly, I've always said Gonzaga gets into another conference, as geographically remote as that place is, they get into a legit conference where anybody can contend with them, and you'll see a regression in 3 years.
I would agree with that.
So I'm Seacrest out. I'm not taking you and giving you a share for you to turn into Virginia Tech 3 years from now. So I'm not taking a shot at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, see, your
basketball program's fine.
I don't know that I would expect that to happen. There would be a step back because you're playing legitimate teams in a legitimate conference. But I mean, how many times do we see ACC teams schedule non-conference games against Pepperdine or something like that? And you typically do a swing, right? You'd play like Pepperdine, and then we'll go to UCLA and play them. So we'll have a little longer stay out west. But I don't see a major problem with sending North Carolina out to play at Gonzaga or any of these other teams.
North Carolina's not a problem. Syriac's a problem.
I see what you're saying.
All right, think about the travel logistics here. You're trying to get from Syracuse, New York, to Spokane, Washington, in February. Just keep saying that. You'll eventually. I promise you will get to what I'm talking about.
Right. At some point, you'll figure out there could be some obstacles standing in your way.
Yeah, and the juice is not worth that squeeze. I'm good.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable low humidity again tonight with 50s in the higher elevations, 60 degrees in the valley. Rare summertime cold front is pushed out to the coast of North Carolina. That's where most of the storms have moved. Sunshine Thursday, and the humidity starts to come back into the weekend. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, near 80 Friday, and some upper 80s, low 90s do return late this weekend and early next week. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Light delays on 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Smoky Park Highway, no incidents. Patton Avenue clear of any delays. New Leicester Highway moving well. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Charlotte Highway, no delays. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville. 540 westbound and 240 westbound, drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Every day, you breathe in thousands of microscopic germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril around the back of the nose and out the other nostril, helping flush out all the nasty things that make you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Cindy, a verified Navage user who writes, "I've had such awful nasal congestion for the last couple years. I bought Navage and OMG, I can breathe again. I love this thing. Goodbye neti pot, hello Navage." End quote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, time to get weird. And, first off, before I try to get funny about this, we all want to continue to send our thoughts and prayers out to the people who are still trying to pick up the pieces from those devastating fires out in Maui. That is, if you haven't been following that story,
it's
just heartbreaking.
It is insane. It is also insane that somehow we find a way that our stories will always link up, even though we don't talk about it.
Oh no, this starts to worry me. Half of everything burned on Maui. I did see the latest report that the Lahaina Civic Center, where they do the Maui Invitational, apparently it was spared, but everything around it is trashed. So they may have to move that event coming up for the preseason of college basketball. But the winds were whipping so much when those fires broke out that the fires were moving at 60 miles per hour across an island. Never a good thing. But help is on the way. Austin-based Hormel Foods is jumping in to help ease the pain of the Hawaiian communities.
If these two stories back to back do not make you understand the difference between Tank and I, nothing will.
Did you know that Hawaii consumes more Spam products than any other state? 8 million cans of Spam a year are allegedly consumed in the state of Hawaii. And so the Austin-based company is now sending the Convoy of Hope to bring more Spam to the island. So they are going to be sending truckloads of Spam to make sure that everybody could be fed in the aftermath of the devastating fires there. They have not stated a goal, I guess, of how much Spam they're going to send. But I would imagine it's quite enough to give you indigestion.
Yep, and if you need to explain the difference about Tank and I, both of our stories about people helping with the relief in Maui, his is about Spam, and mine's about dirty pictures.
Oh, of course it is.
The story is about an OnlyFans influencer who goes by the name Lava X Girl. She's from the lovely island of Maui.
Okay.
And she has started a GoFundMe to help the people of Maui. She has 433 followers on Instagram, and she's trying to help people out.
Mm-hmm.
So she starts the GoFundMe. GoFundMe doesn't start exactly how she wants it to. And then she does what any good OnlyFans influencer would do when she's trying to help. She said, if you will give a $10 donation, I will send you one naked picture per $10 donation. And I'm not going to lie to you. This is a great promotion. And if I looked like that, I could pull it off. Tank and I, we can't do that.
Mm-mm.
As a matter of fact, we'd have to do it in the opposite of, if you don't send in a $10 donation, we are going to spam your inbox with naked pictures until you do. Fundraiser went from $400 some odd to over 7,000.
Of course it did.
One day. Do you realize if people would pay $10 to see what is hiding underneath this ESPN shirt, I would be very wealthy.
No, you wouldn't, because that would be a total of 2 people.
No,
who want to see
I said
that.
if they would. They will not.
I'm not even sure that on a good day, your wife would give you $10 to take off your shirt.
She drinks. Oh, she drinks.
I love that. That's the greatest response you've ever had to anything.
She's not off work yet, so she won't be angry at me for what I just said.
My wife drinks heavily, so sometimes we have fun.
That's not true. Actually, oddly enough, the funny thing is that I drink heavily, and she looks like a supermodel, which is proof positive that dreams do come true.
All right, the college football season right around the corner. Week 0 is next week. We have yet to start on our conference previews, so today's a good day to start there. Let's start with the SEC. You got obviously the number 1 team in the country. They're leading the way, leading the charge, trying to do something nobody's ever done before.
Like every good SEC fan, you have to hype it up. Nobody plays real football but the SEC.
Will Kirby Smart be able to win his 3rd straight national title, or will someone else in the SEC take the title this year? We'll talk about it next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Light delays on 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Smoky Park Highway, no incidents. Patton Avenue clear of any delays. New Leicester Highway moving well. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Charlotte Highway, no delays. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville. 540 westbound and 240 westbound, drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're a Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We are just 1 week away from the start of the college football season. Week 0 is next week.
We're only 9 days away.
That's right.
We're only 9 days away from the first set of bangers. Oh, I can't wait. I started so good in the preseason. My gambling juices are flowing. My comedic juices. Let's go. I'm in mid-season form, and it's mid-August.
He is already raring to go.
Which means by February, I'll either be dead or loaded. Didn't say wealthy.
I was going to say, you're going to be loaded.
Oh, there it is.
For sure.
But she said double entendre, make them work, make them laugh.
Let's talk about the SEC as we start our conference previews for the college football season. The SEC, of course, the conference that everybody points to and goes, that's real football, because they win all of the national championships, except for like 2 of them in the last 80 years. The Georgia Bulldogs have won 2 in a row. Now, they've lost a lot each year off of these teams. Somehow they were able to reload and come back and win last year. And then this year, they lose a lot again. But still, somehow, I heard the stat the other day, and I think it was like 67% of the defensive production on this team still exists.
Which is insane.
It's crazy to think how much they've lost to the NFL draft from just this past season. And still 67% of the production is returning for this year.
Well, I mean, you got to realize you return probably the best defensive lineman in the country. Mikael Williams. Malachi Starks, the safety. Jamin Dumas Johnson. That's going to be a hard name for me to say all year long. And then, was it
Marco Wilson? Is another linebacker, freshman linebacker that they're really expecting to come in and make an impact.
And I could argue this is the best set of receivers you've ever had.
Yeah.
I could make that argument.
The kid that transferred over from Missouri.
Dominic Leavitt.
Yes. I still don't have them memorized yet, but I will. Well,
I mean, it's easy for me to have them memorized because they're on a screen right in front of me.
They're on your screen right in front of me.
I mean, look, I'm smart. I ain't that smart.
Ra Thomas, he was the other one that has
Mississippi State.
Has transferred over from Mississippi State to fill out that wide receiver room. And then, of course, you have the most talented player in all of college football, Mr. Brock Bowers. It's not a bad start. Yeah. I mean, if you're going for a three-peat, if there ever was going to be a three-peat, I would say this is a great chance for it to happen. The problem is you got the target on your back, and I don't know that I can trust Carson Beck or Brock Vandergriff or Gunnar Stockton to be as good as we saw Stetson Bennett be.
Well, look, you made Stetson Bennett a fourth-round NFL draft pick, which is people talk about performing miracles and mentalists and psychics. Whatever you did to him is far more UFOs and spaceships than any of that.
But that was also the genius of Todd Monken, and I don't know if going back to
Mike Bobo.
Mike Bobo.
Oh, God, it's so good to have him back.
I mean, God.
I'll never forget I think it's when you lost to South Carolina, when he was here the first time, and you were ready to pull your hair out. What little of it you have left.
Yeah.
And I just kept looking at you going, Mike Bobo.
I hated him so much. And he got all of the blame when he was there under Mark because, well, I mean, you can't talk bad about Mark Richt because everybody liked him. And so we blamed Mike Bobo for a lot of that. So I don't know that I necessarily like that coming back. You got all the talent in the world, and you've got the easiest schedule in Power 5 football, and I don't know that it's close.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because every other team in your division's awful except one.
Tennessee.
I mean, I think Tennessee is still going to be really, really good. You lost a lot. You have the greatest set of names of any two receivers in all of college football.
Brew and Squirrel?
Brew and Squirrel. It's Squirrel. I can't wait for the first Squirrel White touchdown. It's just
Why do I feel like that? Those should be the names in like a comedy MAGA movie. Brew and Squirrel just going hunting. Let's go.
I mean, but look, we didn't know that Jalen Hyatt was as good as he was last year. We didn't know that Hendon Hooker was as good as he was. I don't think it's that untoward to not expect, but now I kind of feel like you know it's coming because Josh Heupel is much smarter than we thought. And so now you've got the talent at Tennessee, another year of recruiting. If the Joe Milton thing doesn't go well, you've still got Nico Iamaleava. Tennessee, to me, is the easy two.
Yes.
And they're really the only threat.
Yeah, there's not another team in the East that's going to be that good. I mean, Kentucky lost a lot, and I like their coach, and they seem to be competitive-ish every year. People are losing their minds about South Carolina, especially Gamecock fans, and I don't even get it.
Well, the thing about Kentucky is if the defense can stay remotely as good as it was, the offense is better than it was with Will Levis because Will Levis didn't have anybody to throw to last year. They do now.
Okay.
And you've got Dennis Leary. It's the first time I've done that. Will not be the last. Devin Leary coming in from NC State.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Kentucky's a bowl team. I think South Carolina's a bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
You're still trusting Spencer Rattler, and you're losing your minds.
Yep.
I have South Carolina at 3 and Kentucky at 4. And then a fall off a mountain a la Wile E. Coyote. Because the other 3 teams in this division are genuinely awful.
Florida, Missouri, Vanderbilt.
I mean, for the sake of Florida Gator fans, I really hope that Billy Napier's plan was to come in and just explode this and then build it back up because he's done the first part. I have never seen a less talented Florida team in the 30 years I've been pulling for Florida State. Before I ever started doing this, as objective as I can, I promise you Florida State will beat them by 5 touchdowns. It will be ugly in a hurry.
I mean,
and Missouri is worse than them, and somehow Vanderbilt is worse than them.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the beginning of a darker time in Florida Gator football.
But I like Billy Napier, and I think he's a good coach, so I can't go down that road. I think you've had a convergence here of it's the Graham Mertz era.
Yeah, I just don't know that you can recruit with the rest of the league.
I just can't say that without laughing because it's real. Well, you say they can't recruit with the rest of the league. They never cared about recruiting with the rest of the league. They were the best team recruiting in the state of Florida. And that's enough to sustain you. If you do it right, you can literally just stay in Dade County and be fine. The problem is that Florida State is exponentially better than they've been at doing that in the last few years. Miami is too, whether it works out or not. They're still recruiting really nicely. And then you got all the little ancillary schools. Now UCF's in the Big Ten, so you're playing big boy college football, even going to a smaller school. That's an ugly convergence for Florida.
All right, so I think you'd have to have an IQ below salad dressing to have anybody but Georgia winning the East this year.
I agree.
You go to the West, that gets a little more competitive. Preseason, Alabama, always at the top of that division amongst prognosticators. LSU's a close two.
I'm going to say what you just said, but I'm going to change a couple words.
Okay.
Going into the season, I can't tell you it ends this way in terms of prognosticating. You'd have to have an IQ somewhere between salad dressing and a cutlery set to have anybody but LSU winning this division this year because they're markedly more talented. Yes, Alabama has real high-end talent. Yes, they recruit well. Yes, I know they're going to find other things. This is a new offensive system. I'm just going to be nice as I can be and say you're not very good at quarterback. You're completely unproven. You have to play Texas really early. This sets up for one of those for that first Nick Saban year where they wind up playing in the Outback Bowl or something like that.
Right.
Because LSU, I know exactly what they are. I saw it, and now they're a year more developed. They've added to everything they have. I could argue they have one of the 3 best interior defensive linemen in college football and the best linebacker in college football. And a really dynamic offense that showed itself last year.
Yep.
Alabama could win the division because it's Nick, and I'm never going to count Nick out.
Yep.
Going in, LSU's the best. If we're betting horses here, one of them's 3-1 odds for me, and the other's 15-1.
Right.
That's just where it is.
But Nick Saban is always going to be up on that pedestal for most people. And so that's why Alabama is just a foregone conclusion for people, for many, that, well, they're just going to be at the top of this division because they keep reloading in talent. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, I feel like we've said this about Alabama with every new quarterback that's come in.
But those have all been hyped quarterbacks. I've seen just enough of Jalen Milroe. Yeah, that ain't your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Buckner. I've seen just enough of him to know that ain't your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Simpson, him I have not seen.
Right.
Maybe he is. He has not differentiated himself from the other two, and they panicked and went and got Tyler Buckner late in the process. That tells me everything I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Nick wanted to have options. Now, am I sitting here telling you that they couldn't just grind the ball out and beat you defensively? They have a ton of NFL talent on that defense. They absolutely could. But when you start getting into the Jaden Daniels against Jalen Milroe, one of those is way better than the other.
And there's no doubt about it. I will not disagree.
And I don't think LSU's that far behind them defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They're that good.
The West is a 2-team race. I think.
Yeah, because then it falls off. One falls off a cliff.
I think the SEC as a whole, as I said earlier in the program, is a 3-team race. It's Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and it's real close between Georgia and Alabama, or Georgia and LSU for me. And I do have Alabama as my third.
I would say you're on a crash course for LSU, Georgia, in the SEC championship game.
Quite possibly.
And Georgia beats them, and then LSU goes to a high-end New Year's Day bowl. Alabama probably does too. I mean, when I say this about I still have them going 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have them as a threat to the playoff. So, and I think I do a poor job of explaining that. I'm chiding them in that they're not the no-doubt top 5 team that we've seen for what feels like 2 decades. They're not that. Could they become that? Sure. Got the greatest coach in the history of college football.
Texas A&M, after their 5-7 season and losing all that they lost.
Just say this out loud. We brought in Bobby Petrino to fix all of our issues.
It doesn't sound good.
The only thing I could equate to that is this is our new marriage counselor, Kim Kardashian. Oh, Taylor Swift. Oh, she breaks up with people a lot. To me, it's fall off cliff.
Mm-hmm.
A&M's a 7-5 school to me. I have them 5th. I like Arkansas way better than other people do because KJ Jefferson's an NFL-level quarterback prospect to me, and Rocket Sanders is he lives up to that name. So I have Arkansas 3, Ole Miss 4, Texas A&M 5, and then it's I want to say Mississippi State's going to fight that first year after Mike Leach passed away. I just don't see it, and I think it's them and Auburn at the bottom of the division.
Absolutely. And it comes down in the end to LSU and Georgia, and either one of those will represent the SEC well in the college football playoff. Well, it could be a path that both of them end up making the college football playoff. The SEC is still stacked. They're very top-heavy, but it's still stacked. And the teams at the top of that conference are always going to be amongst the class of college football. The gap is much smaller than it used to be, I feel like, but we shall see. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable low humidity again tonight with 50s in the higher elevations, 60 degrees in the valley. Rare summertime cold front is pushed out to the coast of North Carolina. That's where most of the storms have moved. Sunshine Thursday, and the humidity starts to come back into the weekend. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, near 80 Friday, and some upper 80s, low 90s do return late this weekend and early next week. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're a Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're a Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
The Sportsocracy.
One thing that you're going to have to remember, one most important factor, is to protect your quarterback, me.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 7-on-7 drills started out well enough for the Jets. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers hit receiver Garrett Wilson deep, much to the delight of the crowd. Things quickly went downhill. Buccaneers' defensive line dominated the Jets' offensive line. Rodgers sacked multiple times, got frustrated. New York's O-line still a major concern for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. MMQB senior NFL reporter Albert Breer.
They've got pieces up front, and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have invested in trying to put together, a top-shelf offensive line. The problem is it hasn't come together yet, and there's a lot of projection there.
Albert Breer on ESPN Radio Mornings. Buccaneers receiver Russell Gage suffered a season-ending knee injury at today's joint practice, reports ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Ravens Pro Bowl cornerback Marlon Humphrey will undergo foot surgery, a big hit to the thinnest position on Baltimore's roster. No timeline yet for his return. Raiders receiver Devontae Adams returning from a minor lower leg injury for today's joint practice with the Rams. Dolphins defensive tackle Christian Wilkins sitting out team drills over his contract.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Now your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword WIN to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's WIN to 200-200.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene. Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
This is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are seen everywhere on the YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Top of the third hour of the program. It's daily draft time. Coming up later on in this hour, we're going to announce the secondary winners of the Ultimate Fantasy Draft Contest. The winner was Justin Parton. We'll be hosting his league's draft at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue, on September the 3rd. Weirdly on kickoff day for Florida State. Weird that worked out that way, but
what are you, cop?
It is what it is. But we're also going to do.
Thought we'd have a good old time. We're all off on Monday. It's a big game. It's a great spot to watch a game.
That it is.
You ever heard that phrase? Kill two birds with one stone.
Indeed. So we'll do that draft on September the 3rd. Then following that draft, we'll do the Show League draft, where 7 of you will join the 5 automatic bids, which were Jeremy and myself, the guys from the Dude Takes podcast, and, of course, our good friend Armchair Commentary, who does all things fantasy football with us throughout the NFL season and is also the Canadan of the Mullet Man, the Canadan, the Georgia Fan Fantasy Guide.
Bingo.
So we'll be revealing who made the cut for the Show League coming up after the bottom of the hour here. But for the daily draft today, We wanted to do, biggest questions about contenders around the NFL.
There's been a lot of talk about the Jets' offensive line after Tampa Bay dominated them today. If you take it, I'll poo-poo it, and I'll tell you why I poo-poo it. Or I'll take it if you let it sit out there long enough. But we wanted to draft what were the actual fatal flaws. With the Baltimore Ravens losing Marlon Humphrey for a month, that's pretty high on my list.
Mm-hmm.
That secondary scares me. But I have the number 1 pick.
Okay.
And I have a funny feeling that you, as someone that sits in this room with me every day, probably know what I'm taking number 1.
The health of the San Francisco quarterbacks.
Looky there! 49ers quarterback. That's the bigged question in all of football to me.
Mm-hmm.
I said this yesterday. Seattle does not have a player that they could lose that I think typhoons their entire season. San Francisco, you better be right on Brock Purdy, because you've obviously, to me, been wrong on Trey Lance. And you don't seem to believe in Sam Darnold. That's the reason you're putting or between him and Trey Lance as to which one's your second-string quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any faith that you're going to get that right.
Yeah. I don't know what the right call is, and I don't think I'm expected to know what the right call is. I have to trust Kyle Shanahan. And if he sees Brock Purdy as the far and away starter for this team, who am I to say that he's wrong? I get that you don't like the way this guy looks on tape. You didn't see anything last year that wowed you about him, and I get that. But that's not the system, right? The system doesn't need a playmaker quarterback. The system needs somebody who's going to take care of the ball and do what the coach tells you to do, basically. I mean, this Jimmy Garoppolo led this team to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Brock Purdy could do the same.
Hey, let me ask you, I love when people say this. Hey, the year that Jimmy Garoppolo took them to the Super Bowl, where did they finish in yards that year?
In passing yards?
No, offensive yards.
Offensive yards. 6th.
4th. Where did they finish in points?
2nd.
Yep. That's exactly right. Never been that high before. Not under Kyle Shanahan. That one year, it's weird. You lost in 2 conference championship games, and you were good offensively.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't special.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's this narrative that, just any quarterback can go in and win there because Jimmy Garoppolo did. Jimmy Garoppolo's been hurt almost every single year. And there's been a lot of Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard. And I hate to break 49er fans' hearts. Your boy Brock Purdy is way closer to the 2 names I just said than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay. If it was even close, they would tell you that. They would do the same thing that they've been doing with the number 2 spot. Because I find that much more believable. That Trey Lance and Sam Darnold, there's not really a separation between the two. They're both could be decent backups. We know Sam can be a decent backup if you need him for a game or 2.
He can be an elite backup. He can be a decent starter.
I've never seen him be elite at anything.
Name me the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now.
It's Tyler Huntley, not close.
Okay.
He made a Pro Bowl.
Would you rather have Sam Darnold or Tyler Huntley? Because for me, that ain't close.
All right, you got San Francisco quarterbacks as your biggest question for the contenders in the NFL, and that is a very, very important one. So I get it. I don't really have that many questions about the top contenders.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
How many do you have on your list? I have one for literally every contender that could possibly win the Super Bowl, including those that may have to make a deal with the devil.
Right.
And I have 7 that were written in red.
Mm-hmm. Well, you went quarterback for one team, and I'll go quarterback for another team. And it's the Cleveland Browns. Wow. I've said this before. Deshaun Watson, he's got the talent in there. But I don't know if he can display it. I don't know if he can come back this year and just pick up where he left off. I felt like last year was that bad. And I get, he didn't play the first 11 games of the season. Yeah, but, he was around for everything. There were times last year that it felt like he didn't know what offense they were running at times.
He wasn't with the team for 11 weeks.
Yeah, but he had the full preseason. He had all of that. He was able to rejoin the team after 8 weeks and be in the room.
And it's a new system that he had never played in, and he hadn't played football in a full year.
Mm-hmm.
This expectation that people had that he was just going to come in and be a top 5 quarterback, I thought he would be a competent quarterback. You also got to realize Cleveland wasn't really playing for anything by this time.
Mm-hmm.
As many as I had on my list, that one wasn't even there. You could have taken that one dead last.
Really?
I would never have touched it.
Well, I'm going to go with your team next. It's the offensive line.
Go ahead. It's your pick. You defend it, and then I'm going to just grumper right on it.
Just grumper all over it. I feel like that's the thing that Aaron Rodgers is obviously going to be the most concerned about moving to this team, is he doesn't have as good a protection with this team as he did with his last one. And I get it, came and went with the injuries that were there with Bakhtiari and Turner and all the other guys. It fluctuated from time to time with Green Bay, but that's the major hole that I see on this roster. I'm not putting any stock into the fact that the defensive front for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just dominated today. You had 2 starters in your training camp.
You may have had none.
Maybe.
Because both of the guys that played today may not be the starters.
Yeah, there was no Dwayne Brown, there was no Elijah Vera Tucker, and there was no Laken Tomlinson today for the Jets. And that's why when I see that headline or I see somebody say, Tampa was great. No, I don't think
awesome.
they were.
Your starters were great against the backup offensive line.
Exactly.
Hey, weird. So were the Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers were great against the Jets, that whatever they put out there in joint practices.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Got to the game, it didn't matter. Hey, let me just ask you a random question. How many quarterbacks in the NFL have had less time to throw in the preseason than the Jets?
None.
Okay. You're right. It's 0. They've dominated 6 quarters of the preseason, 4 of which were never in doubt. Ever. It was almost hard to watch man, you can't do anything. I get those are preseason games. I'm well aware of that. How many snaps has your left tackle played in this preseason? 0.
Mm-hmm.
How many has your starting right guard played in this preseason? 0. How many snaps has the guy that may very well end up being your right tackle played at right tackle? 0. Now, how many snaps today? I'll give you a good example. Today, Joe Tippmann started at left guard. That was the 2nd-round pick out of Wisconsin.
Okay.
How many snaps he taken at left guard in his life?
I don't know.
0. Yeah, he just continued my theme there. He's never played left guard before in his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran through him. I don't care. If they were really worried about it, they'd have done something about it.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers gave up $35 million. You're telling me if they were that worried, they wouldn't have made a move?
And maybe rather than spending $8 million on Dalvin Cook, they could have spent that money on a guard or something if they thought they were
guard.
really.
You have to literally. I could argue you have the best guard combo in the league. Laken Tomlinson was a high-end free agent, and Vera Tucker is a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, if the tackle thing's that big a deal, you can kick Vera Tucker out the tackle. I've seen you do it. It's very multiple. I'm not worried about it in the least. Am I telling you they're that's a stalwart of the franchise? No. They're easing Mekhi Becton back in because he missed all of last year and damn near all of the year before that. We have this problem in week 4. We can talk. I don't think we will.
Okay.
But it's ironic you said offensive line. Because there is a team who I worry about their offensive line, but only in 2 spots.
Okay.
It's the Kansas City Chiefs at tackle. There's a lot of people there. And look, you draft really well, and Wanya Morris, and I get it. One of the underrated parts of the Kansas City Chiefs is how they have just really had their way with teams offensive line-wise. I don't know who's going to start at either tackle spot. You brought in Donovan Smith, who is an absolute turnstile. Tank, you can attest to that because you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Jawan Taylor, you paid him a lot of money. I feel like you paid him a lot of money to play left tackle. And there's been a lot of hype around Wanya Morris. It's just a lot of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat Mahomes is one of those players that really needs to be kept comfortable.
Yep. Donovan Smith is an absolute liability.
He's awful. And it tells me everything that you paid him legit money that you were scared to death.
Well, you were going to, yeah. I mean, you get to the point where in the NFL, left tackles disappear quickly. And sometimes you have to pay those guys a little bit more than you want to. Staring straight at Jacksonville. What's the name of Cam Robinson, the tackle that they had to franchise last year for $13 million just because that was the best option that they had. I get you got to do things in desperation sometimes. I said it when he got signed, and I'll say it again, though. When he's been with a talented offensive line around him, he was very, very good in the Super Bowl year for Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
So Donovan has the ability. I just don't know what you're going to see. And you put him on a better coached team like the Kansas City Chiefs, and maybe there's hope there. I look at Kansas City, and I don't know that there's anything on that roster that I really concern myself with. Some people will say the weapons.
I've seen him do this.
But it didn't matter.
I've seen him do it with nobodies before. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
I mean, these are not nobodies. You got a lot of draft capital. You just don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
But your one's Travis Kelce, and nobody ever looks at it that way. Travis Kelce's number one target on that team. End of story. Repeat the line.
Yes.
Kadarius Toney's your two, and then you get into the Sky Moores and the Rashee Rice, Justin Ross. I still haven't heard a report from how yesterday went with him.
I haven't either.
I'm not worried about the weapons. I am worried about the tackles because I'm getting to a point of, there's a lot of guys on this team that don't run block well. And if Kansas City can't run and you can make them one-dimensional, they become beatable.
Mm-hmm. He returned to practice today. So Justin Ross.
Wow.
Justin Ross was carted off yesterday with a leg injury. He was back at practice today.
Good for him.
Yeah, I did. When I heard it, I went, how many times can one kid be snake bitten this much? You're in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville through 2 rounds of the daily draft. Biggest questions for the contenders. We return. Flosterdamus has pick number 3.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Light delays 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Smoky Park Highway, no problems. Patton Avenue delay free. New Leicester Highway, no backups. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. Charlotte Highway, no backups, and Tunnel Road moving well. Checking the drive time from downtown Asheville to Asheville Regional Airport via 240 westbound and 26 eastbound. Drive time 20 minutes. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Get ready to win your way to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival and $1,000.
You'll be there.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
September 22nd and 23rd.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Introducing Audible's new original series, Breakthrough, the first of its kind audio-only singing competition featuring celebrity judges Kelly Rowland and Sarah Bareilles, with host Daveed Diggs. Hear who has what it takes. Listen on Audible or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is my Carolina Panthers bobblehead, my 04 NFC Championship jersey, and my Panthers scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Whoa, you could win $200,000 and even 4 season tickets to the Panthers vault? Why haven't you scratched it?
It's in mint condition.
New Panthers Scratch-Offs. Enter to win season tickets to the Vault, a field-level premium seating experience. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.23. Carolina Panthers is a registered trademark of Panthers Football, LLC. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's battle for the belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
We are back in the Sportsocracy. It is daily draft time. Biggest questions for the contenders of the NFL this year so far. Jeremy has gone San Francisco quarterback. There's a whole lot of there's 3 dudes there, and we really don't know what any of them are at the moment. And then he took the Kansas City offensive line that's had some upheaval at the tackle positions.
I trust myself more at an open bar than I trust any quarterback that plays for the San Francisco 49ers.
My 2 picks have been the Cleveland quarterback situation with Deshaun Watson and the New York Jets, their offensive line. What is that going to look like? Can Mekhi Becton come back to what we thought maybe he was going to turn into when he was a rookie, and stay healthy? Because he hasn't been able to stay on the field for more than 7 snaps.
27.
Did
he
he do
27
better?
against the
Okay,
Panthers.
all right. So he did better against the
They're
Panthers.
bringing him along slowly. They're just not wanting to tell you that.
Good. All right. Next.
Mekhi Becton's like a lottery ticket for them at this point. If it pans out, he's like a $20 scratcher. If it pans out, it's going to really pan out.
Right.
If it doesn't, well, we'll figure something else out. There is an offensive line in the AFC East that I am worried about, but it is not the one that you said.
Okay.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. You remember the last time we saw Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
You remember what their biggest problem was?
Yeah, they couldn't stop the pass rush.
They couldn't block me. All 5 starters are projected to be back. Now, that in a vacuum may not be that big a deal, but I want you to think about something. Look at the pass rush of the Jets. Look at the pass rush of the Dolphins. Look at the other pass rushes around the AFC. Chargers, the Ravens, the Steelers. Name me a legit contender in the AFC that doesn't rush quarterbacks really, really well. I watched Cincinnati embarrass you.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen let it happen. And you did nothing to fix it. Osiris Torrance, I love him. He's a run blocker, period. Now, if you can run the ball better, it will keep the hellhounds away. Mm-hmm. That's another thing that I've said about the Jets. And okay, you start sending those guys and watch how many draws get run right at you with a pretty good interior. I don't know that Buffalo can do that. At this point, the best running back for the Buffalo Bills is who?
James Cook.
I would have said Josh Allen, but
oh,
Yeah, I asked it in a really confusing way. It kind of does. I'm scared of that offensive line. Eric Miller in our YouTube comments said their secondary. Their secondary is one of those things that for me, that would be Tre'Davious White.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he comes back to the player he was 2 years ago, then you're fine. Everybody else just slots in a spot lower.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets hurt again or he's as ineffective as he was at times last year, I would agree with you.
Yep.
I think he will be fine.
Yeah, last year you lost Jordan and Micah. Tre'Davious spent some time away from the game as well. The secondary is definitely a question for this team. But I will agree with you. The offensive line trumps that because how are you going to put up points if you can't protect your quarterback and give him enough time to get the ball down the field to Stephon Diggs? My third selection, biggest questions for contenders in the NFL this year, is going to be, let's go head coach. One head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, he took a really good team to the Super Bowl. When was that?
A billion years ago.
13 years ago. It's been a while since he took the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl. And the reason that he got kicked out of Green Bay, or at least the reason that we were all told behind the scenes that he was kicked out of Green Bay, was because the play calling had gotten stale, right? His offensive genius had just kind of waned, and he got too conservative. That's the number one thing they've been saying about what they want to transition to in Dallas, is we wanted to get away from the run and gun of Kellen Moore, sling it 40, 50 times a game, and we want to go back to Mike McCarthy's more conservative approach, because the analytics will tell you that when Dak Prescott doesn't have to throw as much, they're a better team. Right, he's more efficient. He's better quarterback. So it could play out well. But also, you're the Dallas Cowboys, and you have that giant target on your forehead. Mike McCarthy, not the greatest coach in the league, and I could very well see them not living up to expectations yet again. I still don't think that they'll be bad enough to fall out of contention, quote unquote, in the NFC. But he's got to be number one on the hot seat for this season. Because if it don't work now, you ain't getting another bite at this apple.
Mm-mm.
They will replace you in a heartbeat. And you have to go 12-5.
I would agree with that.
You have to be, record-wise, you have to be as good as you've been the last 2 years. Only this time, you've got to get into the playoffs and
I shouldn't have said I agree with that. The playoffs matter more.
Mm-hmm.
If they get in as the 7 seed, I don't really think anybody cares if they win 2 games.
Maybe. It'll depend.
Well, I mean, that's always been the thing about Dallas is you can get there. You get there fine.
Yeah, did you get embarrassed?
Did you get past that first one?
Right. You get past the first one? Okay. Did you get embarrassed in the second one? Because then that'll really matter.
Yeah, you get
every loss.
To me, there's a possibility that the Cowboys go, because the schedule is so evil.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility they go 10-7 or 11-6. You get in as the 6 or the 7, and you beat one of these mediocre division winners. Well, let's say the Lions wind up being the 2 seed, and they play the Cowboys in the first week of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Would it shock you if Dallas went in there and just beat them brainless?
Absolutely not.
It wouldn't me.
No.
And then you get into that next game, and now Mike McCarthy's really playing for his job.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you go into Philadelphia, say, in that second round, and you get dogged, you're done. There's no saving Mike McCarthy at that point.
I would think not, but Jerry surprised me before.
Mm-hmm. And then my next biggest question, I'm going to go with, this is going to sound weird, but I'm going to go with the pass catchers for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, follow me down this path here. All right, Justin Herbert's a great quarterback, and we all feel like he's got, like, all-timer stuff, right? What happens if Quentin Johnston still has his dropsies issues
that he had in the first preseason game?
Exactly. He had at TCU. He's already shown them in the preseason, And that could be a problem, especially if you have the same problem you've dealt with for the last 3 years. One or both of these wide receivers is going to get hurt. Keenan Allen, he ain't getting any younger. And I would already say that he's considered to be one of those ultimate question marks at the position in the league. And Mike Williams breaks when the wind blows. Right? No?
It's not true.
Not true at all?
Not true. I pulled this up as I've been finishing off the Mullet Man Canada and Georgia Fan Ultimate Fantasy Draft Kit.
Mm-hmm.
How many games has Mike Williams missed in the last 3 years? 4 years. 4 years.
9.
2, 4, 7 total.
Now I'd love to know how many of those he's left the game early. I'd love to know how many of those he's been questionable to play or limited in his snaps or what the guy
he lives
plays,
questionable.
And he plays hurt. That's my problem.
Mike Williams, in my judgment, always questionable.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
I like the talent on these guys. I just don't know how far I can trust them to stay healthy and be as effective as they're going to have to be competitive in the West with Kansas City. And there again, one slip in the AFC, and you could go from being top 4 team in the AFC to being out of the playoffs. One game can make that difference.
You're not wrong.
And I have a giant question mark about the ability to stay healthy for that crew. Love the talent. I think they're a top 5 team, if healthy.
All right, my next two are really pretty obvious. It's the Jaguars' defense. Do you have a question about them offensively? I don't.
I mean, I would say their running backs probably are a question mark for me. But
you have issues with Travis Etienne? Because I don't.
I mean, I don't know how good he is.
He's pretty good.
I know he's pretty good.
Especially in that offense. Your receivers got better. Trevor Lawrence is getting a year better. And I think the offensive line, you're in the same boat you were before. They were the best pass blocking unit in the league last year. And you didn't overpay Juwan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
But I come to that defense and go, who is it that you're hanging your hat on? Who's the player that you're going, yeah, you?
Well,
I mean, they have a lot of talent.
They hope that it's Josh Allen. They hope that it's Devin Lloyd. They hope that
Devin Lloyd was genuinely horror-awful the second half of last year.
Mm-hmm.
He started hot, and then he was terrible.
Trayvon Walker. All of those guys that I just mentioned are first-round picks.
And I get that, but you see how you don't have like yes, they were all first-round picks, but is there anyone that you know he's going to be all-pro level?
No. Not a single one.
No, and you start getting into track meets with teams in the AFC, and that can end horribly badly. And since you took a coach, I wasn't planning on taking coaches, but since you took one and you left me what I think is the most obvious one, I'll take Dennis Eugene Allen III because I am terrified that he is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. And I know definitively I like that team better than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked everything they showed in the first preseason game. It doesn't unwind many years of Dennis Allen and his tomfoolery.
Right. Yeah, see, I'll react to that one the same way you reacted to Cleveland. That wasn't even on my list because, honestly, I don't consider them contenders. I mean, they're contenders in their division.
That's not how I responded to Cleveland.
No, you were saying it would not have been on your list.
Oh.
In that regard, this one would not have been on my list because I don't look at New Orleans as a contender.
I was about to say, I definitely view Cleveland as a contender.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not the problem I'm afraid of.
Right. But New Orleans, yeah, I would love it so much if you had a coach, any other coach, not named Todd Bowles. I mean, because obviously that's...
Or Josh McDaniels.
Or Josh McDaniels, that's right. You could probably take every offensive coordinator in the entire league, and I would be better off with that than I would be with Todd Bowles or Dennis Allen or whoever the hell we're talking about.
Mike Kafka was the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, I swear to you, I would have a side wager on them to win the Super Bowl.
Right. And then my last one is a team that I don't really have them in that contender spot, but I feel like they can be if they match up with all of their potential. You want to take a guess?
There's a lot of teams could fall into that.
It's the Miami Dolphins.
I couldn't find. I have a concern with them. Is it the offensive line?
It is. It's the offensive line. I mean, I could give you that, and I don't know, maybe the pass rush, but there again, Jalen Phillips came on so hard at the end of the season that I don't think that's a problem for them anymore.
I don't either.
Their number one problem is going to be protecting Tua, and rather than going, can Tua stay healthy for the 800th time, I want to look at that offensive line and go, you got Teron Armstead, Connor Williams, and then is there another guy on that line that you can kind of trust? Robert Hunt.
I can trust Robert Hunt.
Okay. Austin Jackson,
but
Liam
I
Eichenberg.
would have had Robert Hunt ahead of Connor Williams, just so we're clear.
Okay. I've seen this team not be able to protect Tua, and I didn't like it at all. I think you've got all the talent in the world to be a contender in the AFC, but I don't know that I can trust you to do so.
All right, undrafted free agent, because I've still got one more I want to touch
on. Be careful how you say that. Let's see. For contenders, I mean, I guess I'll just be lazy and go Baltimore Health, because it's the only thing that really concerns me about them. I look at every other piece of that team and go, okay, is there a question in the secondary? Yeah, sure, but I think it all falls back on health. Somebody said the other guy that they ended practice today with only one corner. That one of the other guys that we mentioned earlier, Brandon Stevens went down with a knee injury after the Marlon Humphrey injury. So they're obviously going to have to piece something together here in the secondary, but again, as we started the program, I would just be sitting back chewing my fingernails if I was a Baltimore Ravens fan going, oh, God, it can't happen again.
Well, I thought you were taking mine when you said that, because mine is the Baltimore Ravens corners. Yeah. I don't care if they're healthy. I don't know that they're very good. I trust Marlon Humphrey. I don't trust anybody else. Mm-hmm. I do trust Baltimore to find guys, but there's not a known quantity there.
Yeah.
And when you look at who they have to play, that second corner is really important. And so is the slot guy. And I don't even know who either one is.
Mm-hmm.
Rock Ya-Sin, I feel like he's going to start on the outside. I don't even know who's going to start in the slot. And that is terrifying 3.5 weeks before we kick off NFL football.
This is the Sportsocracy, and you're listening on ESPN Asheville and everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable low humidity again tonight with 50s in the higher elevations, 60 degrees in the valley. Rare summertime cold front is pushed out to the coast of North Carolina. That's where most of the storms have moved. Sunshine Thursday, and the humidity starts to come back into the weekend. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, near 80 Friday, and some upper 80s, low 90s do return late this weekend and early next week. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Future 26 eastbound slow between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparianInsurance.com.
Hi, we're a comparing insurance agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at comparinginsurance.com.
The NFL is back, and your free iHeartRadio app is your home for the NFL Podcast Network with full coverage of all 32 NFL teams. Get in-depth analysis from the pros on around the NFL. Win bragging rights at this year's draft with tips from the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast and more. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Taco Bell's new grilled cheese dipping taco is, well, it's completely new. It's got a fresh fried white corn shell filled with cheese and new slow braised shredded beef with even more cheese grilled outside the shell. But what makes it really special is the dip. It comes with 2 sauces and you dip in one or both. Red sauce, then nacho cheese sauce, maybe more red sauce. This is a next level taco situation that'll have you acting brand new. The new grilled cheese dipping taco. Get one on the Taco Bell app today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact store for participation which varies.
High school football season is back this Friday, and we get things started with Owen and Inca in Week 1 of the Buncombe County Game of the Week. Both of these schools are looking for a good start to the season, and it should be a great matchup. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show starts at 6:30. On ESPN 1400, the Jonathan Crompton era gets underway as Tuscola host Asheville. The Mountaineer Countdown to Kickoff show starts at 6:30. The best high school football coverage is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Back in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, it's the Sportsocracy's most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Let's go to Florida. Do some crimes. A Florida nonprofit offering a $25,000 reward today after 2 pet horses were stolen. Now, the Animal Recovery Mission, that's the name of the organization, said that the pet horses are a 6-month-old filly and a 2-year-old filly, and they were stolen from private property in the Rolling Oaks area of Southwest Ranches on Friday last week. They were stolen through a deconstructed fence at the back of the property between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Now, the $25,000 reward may seem like a lot, but they really want to be able to find these horses because they have a grave concern. And the grave concern is that the fillies were preyed upon and have become the victims of the black market horse meat trade in Florida.
What?
I didn't even know this was a problem. First off, I saw horse thieves and I went, what is this, like 1808 in the Wild West?
Slaughtered that horse last Tuesday.
Exactly.
Afraid she's starting to turn.
So I had to dig into this more, right? I had to look in and see, is this really a massive problem in the state of Florida? And apparently it is. I pulled up a story from February where 2 pet horses were stolen. Their remains were found dumped in southwest Miami-Dade County. And the only thing that was found of them were a, quote, few bones and the heads. Everything else had been harvested. And this story went on to tell me what the problem is. That apparently...
What the problem is.
Exactly. Apparently, in the Cuban culture, eating horse meat is a big deal. It's Florida. There's a lot of Cubans that live in Florida, right? They believe that eating horse meat will cure things like AIDS and cancer. And the comment in this story is pretty funny to me. Said, that's like going into someone's yard and eating their dog because you think it makes you grow wings. That's a quote in the Miami-Dade newspaper, and I went, that's it, quote of the day.
Did they ask me for a quote? Because that very much sounds like something I would say.
Right. Wow. I had no idea, though, that this was a cultural thing, that Cubans believe that eating horse meat will cure cancers. And apparently there is a big black market trade for horsey meat down in Florida. Weird.
Really, there's so many jokes I want to make.
Where are you going with this?
There's so many jokes I want to make here, and I can't do it. Sad. I learned today that to be a politician in the lovely state of California, you have to have an IQ somewhere between salad dressing and shoelaces. I'm going to read this, and I want to see how quick it takes before you figure out what the second part of this story is. In 2022, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Freedom to Walk Act.
Okay.
If you're curious what that means, it means that police no longer have the ability to cite people for jaywalking. And it was the LA Times said it was a victory for all people of California. What's the problem with that? All right, now you can just walk willy-nilly across the street whenever you want to. What's that going to lead to?
Car accidents.
Yep. You ever play Frogger at full speed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently the state of California is doing it every day right now because their traffic fatality rate is now 25% higher than any state in the country.
Wow.
Okay. I know we have differences politically, but I don't feel like we have differences when it comes to stupidity. And yet, here's the second part of the story. They've come up with an idea to fix the problem. And surely to all that's good and holy, it's that you can't just walk out in the middle of a road, right?
Nope.
Wrong! Now you have to pay a fine if you are cited on a traffic cam for going more than 11 miles an hour over the speed limit. You care to guess what the tickets are? I can't wait for your face.
Like
when I
how
say
much the fine is?
Mm-hmm.
$150.
First ticket is a verbal warning. Second ticket is a $50 fine, but it could be reduced if the vehicle owner is unable to pay. Oh,
wow, bang-up job.
You ever hear somebody say something so stupid that you just go, what does it feel like to be an idiot? Like, I've never been one, so in spite of what some of you may think about me, so I don't know what that feels like, and I would love for you to tell me.
Now I kind of want to move to California.
We're playing full speed, real life Frogger in California, and Gavin Newsom's solution is not to stop putting people in the roadways. It's to put up cameras to get you to slow down if you can afford to. You see how stupid that sounded when I said it? California, come here and do crimes. I think that's their new state motto.
Yeah. Verbal warning. Yeah. The cop's going to come to your house, knock on the door and say, you were speeding. Don't do that.
Don't do that again. Yeah. I mean, in California, there's no trees left.
Because they have
paper,
to, right? So. Good for Stephen Tao for pointing that out. I mean, you said that if you get caught on the camera, you get a verbal warning.
AP story, folks. All I do is read the news and make jokes about it. That's what I'm here for.
What? Well, I mean honestly,
here's the thing. You know why it's a verbal warning? Because it's not like to let the cops do anything else. They're just sitting in a corner going, man, I probably should. That guy's doing crimes. I should probably stop him. Oh, wait, I'm not allowed to.
Oh, wait.
I guess I'll just let him continue. 2023, where nothing makes sense. And we're just cool with it because we're afraid.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up for the day and the announcement of who made the cut for the Sportsocracy Fantasy Football League.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side, light delays in pockets between the French Broad River and Airport Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road, north and southbound, light delays near Long Shoals Road. Check of the drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village via Meadow Road. Drive time 12 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparionInsurance.com.
Hi, we're a Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
In a world where thrills never stop, $1 million is on the line, and your fate is decided every 4 minutes by a bunch of random numbers with...
Dan, I think Keno's exciting enough without you doing the voice.
But my talents add a little something, right?
I guess.
Carolina Keno, $1 million thrills every 4 minutes.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win. A price range from 1 to 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Back to school means back to early bedtimes.
But I'm not tired.
Fortunately, there's Pure Z's Kids, mindfully formulated to help your child fall asleep naturally when needed. Pure Z's Kids products are non-habit forming, drug-free, and available in liquid, chewable tablets and gummies. Give them the rest to be their best.
Bye, Mom!
Pure Z's Kids, for ages 4 and up. Explore all Pure Z's Kids products at zquill.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
The Sportsocracy.
Hello, everybody. This is good old JR Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer. Boy, these boys are smart. You talk about Goofy and the Pet Coon. Let me tell you something. This show is a legitimate slobber knocker.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. And it's time to find out what kind of a weird, idiotic twist has Jeremy got in store for the show league this year.
Well, I mean, the last time we did this, I had to take Gardner Minshew #1 to try to win Bud Light for a year.
I remember that.
Man, doesn't that seem like it was a billion years ago?
It was.
Oh, now they give it to you for nothing. So this year, I finished second in that one. And so I feel like I have to have another twist. So we have myself, Tank, Armchair Commentary, Zach and Cody from the Dude Takes podcast. The 5 of us are already in it. Mm-hmm. We drew 7 more winners. And Tank hit this earlier accidentally. It's a vampire league. And guess who the vampire is? Me. If you've never played in a vampire league, here's how it works. The 11 of you draft teams like you normally would. I'm making it a little more difficult on myself, though.
You're not going to draft a team at all.
No, I'm not going to draft. That's how vampire leagues work. I draft no players.
You get to pick from the free agents that are left after everybody drafts.
Mm-hmm.
And then every week when you beat somebody, you get to pick a player off their team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to make it a little harder, though.
Okay.
Because I'm adding an extra layer onto this. If you beat me, you can take anybody off my team you want. I'm that confident.
Hubris comes shortly before the fall.
Might. Frankly, I want one of you guys to win it. I mean, except Tank. I can't deal with him ever beating me in anything.
Oh, that would be just so glorious.
I've got a solid streak of him never beating me at anything.
I mean, I don't know.
Except wherever we're going.
We did have a show league last year, and I believe I finished second in that to Armchair.
So, didn't win it, so I forgot about it. That's the way it worked. But
I believe it was me and Armchair in the championship.
We have 7 people that entered into the contest, all the things, and we will now announce those 7 entrants into the league. The first one, Adam Harris, Jacob Eckel, our reigning battle for the belt champion, Michael Meadows, who may be the luckiest person on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
He's also really good at fantasy football. Patrick Holt, Stephen Towle, Clarence Engel, and Christopher Contreras.
Okay. Congratulations to everybody who made it to the Sportsocracy Show League.
This draft will be held at the Ultimate Fantasy Draft, a weekend party.
Mm-hmm.
If you are unable to make it, we can Zoom you in, do all of the things. And this draft will start, I believe, we came up with 4. I think Parton's League gets noon to 4, and then we'll lather up and put this one together.
Okay.
And this one should go a little quicker because you're only drafting 11 teams.
Adam Black already says Jeremy's going to come in last. So I'm going to bet he doesn't. I'm going to bet he doesn't, but I wonder, Jeremy, would you be willing to wager that if we gang up on you and somehow get you to finish last in this, would you put a tattoo on the line? Would you let us pick your tattoo?
Within reason. I mean, look, I'm at a huge disadvantage
Of
here.
course you are. I'm not talking like, big giant unicorn on your back, which I would just love to see.
I wouldn't be averse to it either. And then I would call myself the unicorn.
But I don't know, gang.
See, here's the thing. I'm a marketing guy, so I can spin about anything. You throw a unicorn on my back, I'm going to call myself that for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Because I could see you coming back and doing this and winning like a vampire league against randoms.
No, all of these are
but
good.
But you got some heavy hitters in this league.
Yes, all of these guys are good.
Adam, Michael with the defending champ. I mean, you got the Dude Takes guys and Armchair. Notice I didn't put myself in that category, but I don't know. Could be interesting.
You know what? There's a way. All right, I'll go one step further. I will let all of you submit your ideas. I will pick 5 that I'm willing to do, and I'll let the house vote on it if I don't make the playoffs. I'll go a step further.
I'm in, guys.
Half the guys in the league make the playoffs. If I don't make the playoffs, I will let the House of Reprehensibles decide a tattoo for me.
Vampire League. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Of course, this is all going to be drafted on September the 3rd. We will stream all of it, right? We're going to stream the show.
The whole day will be streamed. It's going to be a stationary camera because I'm not walking around with a camera on my shoulder all day. But you'll be able to see everything. It'll be set up in the corner, and you'll be able to hear the audio, and then we'll be down in the corners.
And you might as well just mark your calendars, not only for September the 3rd on that Sunday for the drafting and the college football kickoff watch party with Florida State and LSU that night, but every Sunday of the NFL season. Mark your calendars to come join us, 51 North Merriman Avenue at the Village Porch. It is the football home for the Sportsocracy. We'll be back with you tomorrow right here on ESPN Asheville and the iHeartRadio app, 3 o'clock.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable low humidity again tonight with 50s in the higher elevations, 60 degrees in the valley. Rare summertime cold front is pushed out to the coast of North Carolina. That's where most of the storms have moved. Sunshine Thursday, and the humidity starts to come back into the weekend. We're in the low 80s tomorrow, near 80 Friday, and some upper 80s, low 90s do return late this weekend and early next week. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side is slow between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, no backups. Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road, seeing some delays. Check out the drive time from Fairview to Fletcher via Cane Creek Road. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ComparianInsurance.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparianInsurance.com.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.